Civilization Devours. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 101. Meeting Fang Xian at the party. Chen Mou took a look and saw that Su Dao and others had just walked out of the room and did not see this scene, so he breathed a sigh of relief. I'm not young anymore. I'm over 40 this year. The young man shook his head helplessly. Seeing Su Dao and others coming over, he turned his head and looked at them. You came at the right time. Are you a classmate from the next dormitory? His Haiyan asked very directly. The young man's face darkened, and he seemed to be unable to hold back. Chen Mou winked at his Haiyan again and again. He was really afraid that his Haiyan would also say, then you must be my senior brother. His Haiyan saw Chen Mou's performance and realized that something was wrong, so he shut up. I am your class teacher Du Zhang. Come here to see the situation. The young man said. Several people were a little surprised, but they still greeted honestly. Hello, class teacher. Du Zhang glanced at them and nodded. You guys are all good, your aura is deep and condensed, and you are also the best in the class. Then he reported a group number and asked Chen Mou and others to join the group for future contact. Du Zhang continued to explain some precautions on campus, turned around and left, and rang the next dormitory bell. Chen Mou and his friends looked at each other, took out their phones, entered the group number to apply, and were soon accepted to join. Class 5, Level 20. This is the class of Chen Mou and his 4 friends, and also the name of the group. Before they came in, there were already many classmates, chatting enthusiastically. The chat covered a lot of topics, such as beauties on the school flower list, strong people on the Xinghu list, some training places on campus, famous teaching instructors, etc. Chen Mou watched and learned a lot. I heard that the day after tomorrow, we freshmen will be arranged to enter the secret realm trial. Is it true? A classmate named Song Lin asked. This should be true. It is said that this secret realm is directly connected to another space, not an Arziji star at all. It was discovered by chance, and now it is used by the saints to train freshmen. These students know a lot of people and have many channels of information. Unlike Chen Mou, he just practices all day long, or writes articles to make money. It's still early for the trial. I heard that there will be a freshman gathering around 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. It will be arranged in the hall specially set up in the Xinghu cafeteria. Those who are interested can come and have fun. I heard about it a long time ago. I heard that there will be seniors coming to get together and talk to us about school life and other things. It is said that seniors on the Xiaox Xinghu list will come to participate this time. Okay. We must go to the gathering tomorrow, but there seem to be many cafeterias in Xinghu Academy. Which one is it? We will naturally go to the one closest to us. Students from other classes have their own arrangements. Those who are close may go with us, and those who are far away may go to other cafeterias. Seeing this, Chen Mou's heart moved and he prepared to go and see it tomorrow. It was a bit late now, so Chen Mou practiced for a while and then went to bed. The next day, Chen Mou got up very early. He went to the cafeteria to have breakfast first, and then walked around to get familiar with the environment of Xinghu. At about 11 o'clock, Chen Mou walked towards the cafeteria. The gathering time was approaching. The cafeteria hall was crowded with many students. The canteen of Xinghu Academy is very grand. Although we are having a party in the canteen, it is no different from having a party in a hotel. The canteen here is even more grand. Students gathered in groups of 3 or 2 around a table, chatting with each other. There were many fruits and snacks on the table, which could be taken at will. Chen Mou found a seat and sat down, quietly observing the surroundings. Dear students, the senior is here. A handsome student walked in. He was wearing a decent and elegant shirt, with a good figure and clear muscle lines. It was Fang Xian. But the protagonist this time was obviously not him. He walked in front and was the role of the guide. Behind him, 2 tall men followed, walking like a dragon and a tiger, with an extremely extraordinary demeanor. The 2 men did not move, and they walked calmly, with extraordinary demeanor. This is senior brother Ningan, and this is senior brother Wang Yuanming. Fang Xian introduced. He ranked 10th in Yonghui City, and it happened that the 4 majors had more enrollment quotas this year, so he was successfully admitted to Xinghu Academy. As soon as he entered the school, he hooked up with 2 senior brothers, showing strong communication skills. Looking at the momentum of Ningan and Wang Yuanming, These two people are not weak even in Xinghua Academy with many masters, and they can be ranked in the front. Hello, senior brother. Many students greeted him. Ning'an and Wang Yuanming nodded, with a satisfied look on their faces. Fang Xian also smiled. He was just barely admitted to Xinghua Academy. He was not really strong in this school full of masters, but now he has contact with two powerful senior brothers. Who'll not give him some face in the future? With care, he can get some guidance in cultivation in the future, take fewer detours, and maybe have a chance to catch up. Looking around, Fang Xian was slightly satisfied to see that these usually unruly students did not dare to act rashly in front of their senior brothers. Suddenly, Fang Xian saw a scene and frowned. In Fang Xian's sight, Chen Mou was holding a cup of spiritual liquid provided free of charge at the party and drinking it happily. Hasn't this guy ever had a good drink? Everyone is saying hello to the senior brother, but you are drinking by yourself and ignoring everyone. Fang Xian didn't want to cause trouble at first, so he just ignored him as if he didn't exist. But when he looked more carefully, he found that it was Chen Mou, and he was furious. Not only did this man not give him any face, he also beat Wang Haoqiang severely and injured him seriously. Wang Haoqiang's loss of combat effectiveness is equivalent to Fang Xian losing his left and right arms, and many things are difficult to deal with. He ignored him again today and his attitude was extremely arrogant. This is a slap, hitting himself on the left cheek and then on the right cheek. This is intolerable. In fact, Chen Mou didn't recognize Fang Xian. He is usually withdrawn and unsociable. How could he recognize so many people? Chen Mou didn't even recognize Su Dao at first, let alone Fang Xian. But Fang Xian didn't think so. He felt that Chen Mou must have recognized him on purpose. With a roll of his eyes, he said to Chen Mou, "My classmate, is the spiritual liquid delicious?" Chen Mou looked up. He didn't know this person, but since the other party asked in a friendly way, he had to respond. He immediately said, "It tastes good, and the effect is not bad. It feels a little stronger than the nutrient solution." Xinghua Academy is indeed unique. A small freshman party gives out so many good things for free. I wonder who is paying for it behind the scenes? The smile on Fang Xian's face turned into sarcasm. Delicious? If it tastes good, then drink more. I think with your family background, you have never tasted such a good thing in your life. The whole audience fell silent and everyone had a premonition that something good was going to happen. Chapter 102 Overwhelming. Chen Mou put down the cup, and it hit the table with a sound, which seemed to hit Fang Xian, causing him to tremble. I don't understand what you mean. With a look like lightning, he looked at Fang Xian, and a heavy pressure spread out. Fang Xian's back was covered with cold sweat. The man opposite him was not furious, nor did he burst out with any power. His calm words had already given him great psychological pressure. Chen Mou's defeat of Duan Fechen had proved his strength, and Fang Xian certainly would not underestimate him. He sent Wang Haoqiang, who was in the middle stage of the Miracle Apprentice, and 4 masters of the initial stage of the Miracle Apprentice to help. He felt that he had won 9 out of 10, but he still failed to defeat Chen Mou. After all these things, Fang Xian had overestimated Chen Mou as much as possible, but he could not understand the terrifying nature of the other party without seeing it with his own eyes. Shaking his head, Fang Xian calmed himself down. So what if you are stronger? Can you be more powerful than these two brothers? Let alone other things, the Xinghua Academy has such a rich spiritual energy that one can improve with strength by practicing hard in seclusion, not to mention the guidance of first-class famous teachers. If these two sophomores practice for 1 more year, Chen Mou will not be their opponent. Thinking of this, Fang Xian's confidence came back. Don't get me wrong. Fang Xian said, this spiritual liquid is indeed effective, and it's understandable to drink some. But the senior brothers are here, and you don't say hello, but just drink the spiritual liquid. Isn't it a bit rude? He immediately accused Chen Mou of disrespecting his senior brothers. I'm really sorry, I'm a loner, and I don't know how to deal with people, please don't blame me. Chen Mou replied indifferently. Although it was an apology and explanation, combined with his cold attitude, the mocking effect was full, and people couldn't feel the sincerity of the apology at all. Fang Xian's forehead was bulging with veins, and he was about to explode, but when he thought of Chen Mou's power, his courage was mostly gone. He turned to the 2 senior brothers behind him and said, Senior Brother Ning, Senior Brother Wang, this person is from the same city as me and has always had some conflicts with me. I didn't expect that today he would take his anger out on the two senior brothers because of me. This is my fault. I hope you can forgive me. Fang Xian explained and took all the responsibility on himself. This move is to retreat in order to advance. Sure enough, when they heard this, everyone else couldn't help but frown. Fang Xian had a conflict with that person, but he took the initiative to take responsibility, which greatly increased people's favorability. But Chen Mou took his anger out on the senior brother next to him because of a small grudge, which was indeed a bit unkind. However, there were also many smart people who did not stand in line, did not support anyone, and just watched the show. Chen Mou was a little puzzled. Who are you? Why do I have a grudge against you? Ningyan stepped forward and said loudly, Junior brother Fang is open-minded, so you don't have to get angry with some impolite people. As he said that, a breath burst out, overwhelming the whole audience. The spearhead was pointed directly at Chen Mou. There was no direct impact, only the aftermath. The students around were all shocked. Is this the strength of the sophomore brother? At the same time, a longing arose. If I practice hard in Xinghua Academy for a year, can I also have such power? Maybe even surpass it. In this momentum, Chen Mou was under the heaviest pressure. The whole person was like a small boat in the raging waves, ready to capsize at any time. Chen Mou's eyes were fixed on Fang Xian. Just now, I heard that senior brother Ning called the other party junior brother Fang. The surname is Fang, and he has a grudge against me. Fang Xian. It's really a narrow road for enemies. I haven't taught you a lesson yet, but you dare to run into the muzzle of the gun. Fang Xian also noticed Chen Mou's eyes. His eyes were bright, but they made people shudder, like a predator staring at its prey. His legs trembled a little and he took a few steps back. On that day, when Fang Xian called to make a deal with Chen Mou, he just treated the other party as a small person, and wanted to get rid of him with 1 million or 3 million. Without facing the pressure of Chen Mou, you can't clearly recognize the fear of the other party. Ningyan saw this scene, smiled coldly, and took another step forward, with a surging breath. A stronger pressure was transmitted to Chen Mou. Ningyan looked at Chen Mou with a smile in his eyes, as if saying as long as you apologize, the matter will be over. Give you face. Chen Mou spit out word by word, slapped the table with his right hand, and a more violent breath rushed out of his body. It was like a demon dragon coming out of the gate, wreaking havoc on the world. The invisible momentum was surging. This was a confrontation between miracle power and mental power. Ningyan's body shook, his face flushed, and the blue veins on his face were exposed. Obviously, he was under great pressure. Most of the people present were freshmen. Seeing this scene, they were shocked. I thought that the sophomore brothers were difficult for them to fight against, but I didn't expect that there were geniuses among the freshmen who could compete with these brothers. Someone recognized Chen Mou and knew that he was the top scorer in the national written test, but his practical level should be average. He is naturally strong in the written test, but in terms of practical skills, he is not even the top scorer in the city, let alone the top scorer in the province. How can he be so strong? A man with a crew cut asked his companions in confusion. Even Chen Mou is so strong, then how strong should some of the geniuses who won the provincial top scorer among the freshmen of Xinghua Academy be? Are you stupid? Chen Mou is not from other provinces, but from Yonghui City, East China Province. The top scorer in Yonghui City is Chu Xiaoxi. If you become the top scorer in Yonghui City, you will naturally be the top scorer in East China Province, and even the top scorer in Huiki Country. Of course, the premise is that you can be better than Chu Xiaoxi. A person who is familiar with him looked at him as if he was an idiot and responded. The man with the short hair thought about it and felt that it made sense. His face turned red and he said hesitantly, I forgot for a moment. However, the provincial champions in other provinces should also have his power. The man with the short hair was not very sure about what he said. He continued to look at the battle in the field. Although there was no real fight, this invisible confrontation was also extremely exhausting. Ningyan gritted his teeth and resisted with difficulty, taking a step back from time to time. On the other hand, Chen Mou sat on the chair, his body motionless and his face calm. Wang Yuanming saw this scene and wanted to help. But on the one hand, the two of them worked together to fight against a junior brother. Wang Yuanming couldn't afford to lose this man. On the other hand, what Wang Yuanming didn't want to admit was that even if he made the same move, the two of them together would not be sure to defeat Chen Mou. The man was too calm, and his strength was like an abyss that could not be guessed. In the end, Wang Yuanming chose to stand by and watch. The duel in the field was almost coming to an end. Chen Mou suddenly stood up from his chair. The two forces collided with each other, causing a series of explosions and a dull sound in the air. Ning'an flew backwards and fell to the ground. He was not seriously injured, but he looked extremely embarrassed. I gave you a chance, but you are useless. Chapter 103 Arrogant Chen Mou. The whole audience was shocked, and could hardly believe what they saw. Senior brother Ning was definitely not weak, with a strong aura and vigorous blood, but he was defeated in the invisible collision with Chen Mou. He was not injured, but his appearance was not much better than being injured. Wang Yuanming was shocked, and was somewhat glad that he did not make a move just now, but he could not help but wonder if he had made a move, would it have changed the situation? Fang Xian's face was pale and he looked lost. Relying on his communication skills and family background, Fang Xian quickly found two senior brothers in Xinghua Academy as his backers. Today, he met Chen Mou again, and thought he could teach him a lesson, but he didn't expect that the backer he was proud of was so vulnerable in front of others. Fang Xian felt that family background, and backers seemed to have no effect in front of Chen Mou. Strong strength can crush everything. What's going on? A faint voice came from a distance. The voice was not loud, but it immediately attracted the attention of the whole audience. A man with a majestic figure walked out of the gate. He was wearing a suit of armor and his aura was flowing, giving people a strong sense of oppression. This man did not look like a student, but rather like a general who had fought on the battlefield. Beside him, a woman in her 20s followed. She was wearing simple casual clothes, with long black hair hanging down, a smooth face, a slender figure, and long legs, giving people an invisible sense of temptation. It's brother He Zhenggang, a master on the Xia Xinghua. Someone immediately recognized this man. He was too strong. He was wearing armor and his aura was like an ocean, which oppressed the students around him and made them dare not look directly at him. Why is he back? Didn't he go out on a mission? In addition to Ning'an and Wang Yuanming, there were actually some sophomores present. They were not as high profile as Ning'an and the other two, but came quietly. When they saw He Zhenggang, they all felt an unspeakable pressure. He Zhenggang has just been promoted to sophomore and ranks 37th on the Xia Xinghua. The ranking of 37 may not seem high, but it is actually very impressive. After all, Xinghua Academy recruits students from all over the country and gathers many geniuses. To stand out among these geniuses is a genius. The one next to him is Qizidan. I heard that Qizidan has some feelings for him, but He Zhenggang is in love with Wei Lingman. How can an ice fairy be easy to pursue? Of course, he has been rejected many times. Some people are more concerned about the graceful woman next to him, and they tell a bloody story as soon as they open their mouths. Brother He. Ning'an stood up and felt a little hot on his face. He looked really embarrassed. Although He Zhenggang asked what was going on, he couldn't speak. Could it be that he wanted to use his power to suppress others, but ended up being beaten up? Wang Yuanming wanted to say a few words, and wanted to open his mouth several times, but finally gave up. It was really shameful. Although Ning'an was embarrassed, he was not much better. He didn't even have the courage to take action. Although others didn't know this, they just thought he didn't want to bully the weak with the strong. Seeing that the two did not want to say more, Fang Xian jumped out and said sadly, "Please ask senior brother He to be fair. What's going on? Tell me." He Zhenggang's eyes became sharp, which made Fang Xian's back cold and he could hardly speak. After a pause, Fang Xian slowly said, "Senior brother He, it's like this. I have always had a grudge with this Chen Mou, but because of me, Chen Mou was extremely rude to the two senior brothers. Senior brother Ning'an was tolerant and generous, and said that he would not care about rude people. As a result, Chen Mou immediately turned hostile and used his power to suppress others. It was really bad." Ning'an and Wang Yuanming listened with admiration. Although they were senior brothers, they had to learn the ability to reverse right and wrong from their junior brothers. The two said nothing, which was considered as tacit agreement. He Zhenggang's eyes were like two cold lightnings, piercing Chen Mou. Is that so? Chen Mou sat in his seat, leisurely picked up a bottle of orange juice, and poured himself a drink. Although the taste of orange juice is not as good as fine wine, Chen Mou has never liked wine very much. In desperation, he had to sacrifice his style. Hearing He Zhenggang's words, he slightly raised his eyelids. "You can ask Ning'an and Wang Yuanming and you will know. I'm asking you, not others." You just need to answer honestly. His Hungayang's face turned cold, and a fierce aura was faintly revealed around him. In fact, his Hungayang is not a stupid person. Naturally, he will not listen to Fang Xian's words casually. He originally wanted to ask Chen Mou's opinion and take charge of the overall situation, but he didn't expect that this kid would not give face at all. I haven't seen such a crazy young man for a long time. Chen Mou didn't know what his Hungayang was thinking, and even if he knew, he would only laugh it off. Take charge of the overall situation? Who do you think you are? On the other hand, Chen Mou's performance was also because he heard that this person was a master on the Xia Oxinghua ranking, and he deliberately wanted to test him. After all, there is no harm in being on the Xia Oxinghua ranking, and it is also helpful for the assessment of scholarships. Chen Mou decided that he would also be on the list. Others didn't know what Chen Mou was thinking. Seeing him with a look that looked like he deserved a beating, as if to say, "Unhappy with me? This is my attitude. What's wrong? Come and bite me." For a moment, they were full of admiration. After all, not many people dared to face the majesty of his Hungayang. But their admiration had not yet reached its peak. Chen Mou's next words made their respect rise again. "I asked you to ask the two of them, not to ask others. You just need to ask honestly." Damn. This was the voice that suddenly emerged in many people's minds. Fortunately, they reacted and controlled their mouths, and did not blurt out the words instantly. This kid is a ruthless person. I have seen arrogant people before, but it is rare to see someone as arrogant as this. Everyone who came to the party today felt that they came to the right place. It was worth the trip to see such excitement. If everyone had a happy dinner today with uniform professional fake smiles on their faces, what would be the point? Someone suddenly slapped his thigh and said, "Oh no, I was so engrossed in the show that I forgot to take out my phone to record it." Since the conflict between Chen Mou and Fang Xian, the contradictions have been escalating, and it's very interesting. As a result, I just remembered to record it now, and it's too late. Why record it? Of course, upload it to the campus forum and the Zuan's Exchange website. Maybe I can get some advertising fees. This kind of scene is more attractive than those long-winded research articles. This person was regretting it, and he saw a person next to him grinning, and a small video recording device appeared in his hand. He didn't know how long he had been recording. His face suddenly turned the color of liver, and he glared at the people around him. "You were talking to me just now." His Hungayang's tone was very calm, but anyone could feel the storm hidden under this calm. Chapter 104 Ignore. The momentum was surging, and the power of miracles permeated between the two people, colliding repeatedly. His Hungayang was really angry. Even if he was a sophomore, few people dared to talk to him like this, let alone a freshman. Newcomers are newcomers, they don't know any rules. It seems that he needs to be taught a lesson. The power of miracles swept across, and under the collision, the wooden table in front of Chen Mou was brushed by the aftermath and exploded directly, leaving a mess on the ground. Chen Mou felt the pressure. The masters on the Xia Oxinghua list were indeed extraordinary, not to mention that his Hungayang was ranked 37th, not the last. The chair he was sitting on also broke directly. Chen Mou stood up, his figure proudly standing in the field, like a dragon ascending to the sky, with an unyielding spine. The magic dragon burning blood technique started to work, and the fighting power soared. Although he didn't really take action, the collision of miracle power was also extraordinary. Chen Mou's body sank and was under an invisible pressure. With a cold snort, his Hungayang added strength again. This pressure was like a mountain, and it was going to crush Chen Mou directly. Chen Mou's face flushed slightly. His Hungayang was a little stronger than he had imagined. He was only ranked 37th, but he was so strong. The little star Hui ranking was indeed very valuable. However, this ability is far from enough to crush me. Chen Mou whispered in his heart. His dragon-like body remained motionless and confronted his Hungayang. Count me in too. Su Dao's figure suddenly appeared in the crowd. The same miracle power burst out and joined the battle. However, he was not helping Chen Mou. After the miracle power surged, it was repeatedly agitated. The three collided and formed a three-legged tripod. His Hungayang's face sank. He had not taken down Chen Mou for a long time, which made him lose face. Now there was a new student who came to provoke him. While he was angry, he was also secretly shocked. Chen Mou alone made him feel powerful, and now there was another student he didn't know. His Hungayang was confident that if he really took action, The two of them together would not be his opponent. After all, his martial arts school was no joke. But these two people were able to fight against me as soon as they entered school. Their talent was really terrifying. You have to know that they had practiced for an extra year. Moreover, they practiced in Xinghua Academy for a year. The aura in the school was rich, the types of exercises were rich, the training conditions such as gravity room, secret realm and other resources were very sufficient, and there were many famous teachers to guide them. In the future, there will definitely be a place for these two people on the Xinghua list. A cold look flashed in He Zhangyan's eyes. The future is the future. You are not qualified to challenge me now. Let me teach you what respect is now. With a move, the miracle power exploded, directly suppressing Chen Mou and Su Dao. Interesting. Su Dao smiled and didn't take it seriously. The miracle power on his body exuded a sharp taste, and frantically cut at the field formed by He Zhangyan's miracle power. The miracle power on Chen Mou also changed. A crazy, annihilating, violent, and deep power burst out. The miracle power that was originally invisible flashed a dark magic light, which made people feel cold. There seemed to be a demon abyss hidden inside his body, and the power of destruction was like mercury pouring down, covering the space around Chen Mou, making people almost think that the demon lord had descended and was ready to rush out at any time. His eyes turned blood red, and under the influence of this power, the urge to kill emerged. In the sea of consciousness, the lighthouse of the ancient god shone brightly, directly wiping out all the dark forces that invaded this place. Chen Mou's mind regained clarity again. What the hell is this? He Zhangyan cursed in a low voice. I thought that with my own strength, I was enough to suppress the two people at the same time, but I didn't expect that Su Dao and Chen Mou's methods were extraordinary. Su Dao used his sharp intention to directly break He Zhangyan's suppression. And Chen Mou was even more weird. This power seemed to communicate with a demon abyss, making people confused. He Zhangyan felt that his brain was affected and gradually became crazy and violent. Biting his tongue, the feeling of pain came, and He Zhangyan regained consciousness. He quickly kept his mind, and the power to suppress the two people also shrank, and he dared not use his full strength again. Although Chen Mou's power was strange, it was not enough to have a big impact on him. However, He Zhangyan was too arrogant just now and wanted to suppress the two at the same time, so he was naturally counterattacked. It was equivalent to a 1-on-2 situation. The three resumed the situation of mutual collision again, among which He Zhangyan had a slight advantage, but the advantage was not very big. In the end, the power of the three exploded at the same time, and each of them withdrew after the collision. Chen Mou and Su Dao each retreated 3 steps, and He Zhangyan also retreated 2 steps. They all withdrew, which was a situation of neither winning nor losing. He Zhangyan's face was very ugly. In this duel, he had a few advantages, but as a strong man on the Xinghua list, he was forced to this point by 2 freshman brothers, which was a shame in itself. After taking a deep look at the two people, He Zhangyan took note of what happened today, and this matter was not over yet. Wonderful, wonderful. When the whole audience was solemn and no one dared to speak, an inappropriate voice appeared. He Zhangyan looked at it suddenly, wondering which blind man dared to jump out and cause trouble at this time. As soon as he entered the scene, a handsome man came over, with sharp eyebrows and bright eyes, wearing a luxurious brocade robe. He Zhangyan's scolding words choked in his throat, and he forced a smile on his face. Young Master Wang. He knew that this young Master Wang was the eldest son of the Wang family in North China. This family held a huge share of the nutrient solution market and also intervened in various cultivation resource fields such as the condensing spirit wood. It was an absolute behemoth. Many other students also recognized the person. Knowing his identity, they all wanted to go forward to make friends and cooperate in the company's business. But now, this occasion is obviously not suitable. Even those who don't know the identity of the person who came, seeing He Zhangyan's attitude, know that the other party must be someone who is not easy to mess with. The person who came was Wang Jun's. He was holding a glass of red wine in his right hand and a tray in his left hand, on which were 2 glasses of blood red wine. Come on, have a drink. Ignoring everyone present, Wang Jun's came to Chen Mou and Su Dao with a tray in his hand. Chen Mou and Su Dao looked at each other, took the red wine, and clinked glasses with Wang Jun's. Su Dao drank the red wine in one gulp, while Chen Mou only took a sip and frowned slightly. It doesn't taste good. He has never liked drinking, mainly because he is not used to the taste. The three of them drank on their own, completely ignoring his Hanggang, which made his face gradually gloomy, but because of Mr. Wang's face, he couldn't get angry, so he could only hold it in secretly. Although the others were also ignored, they did not feel angry, but laughed secretly. This his Hanggang looked like a god when he appeared on the stage, but in the following process, he was defeated one after another and lost his dignity. Ningen and Wang Yuanming stood aside, trying their best to downplay their presence. Now it was a fight between gods, and it was better for them not to be implicated. Fang Xian looked even more distraught, standing dejectedly, barely supporting his body, so he didn't sit down on the ground. Thanks to the big brother for the reward. Chapter 105, The Frustrated His Hanggang. His Hanggang clenched his fists and looked at the people in the field. All of them had a faint smile on their lips, but they didn't dare to show it. He snorted coldly and was about to leave. Staying here would only add to the humiliation. His Hanggang didn't dare to offend Wang Jun's. But this didn't mean that he had to give Wang Jun's face. Xinghua Academy was still based on strength. The struggle between students generally didn't involve family background. His Hanggang was strong, so he didn't have to look at Wang Jun's face. Just as he was about to take a step, he saw the students at the door stand up and make way. Fairy Chen. Fairy Chen is here too. Shocked voices came. A slender woman walked in, with lotus steps and swaying posture. It was Lin Sichen. Period. She was dressed in white, like the nine heavens mysterious lady descended to the world. Her breath was very illusory, and there was a sense of unreality, as if she was about to take off with the wind at any time and return to the palace in the sky. Everyone present felt that their heartstrings were plucked fiercely. The beauty of this woman was hard to describe in words. Lin Sichen walked closer, took a look at the shattered tables and chairs, and frowned. His Hanggang, you relied on your power to bully your classmates again. His Hanggang was so angry that he wanted to vomit blood. When he first came, he at least asked about the conflict process. Unexpectedly, Lin Sichen came here and questioned him directly. Although he was very angry, he did not dare to get angry, not because of Lin Sichen's appearance, but because this woman ranked third on the Xinghua list, much higher than himself. Xinghua Academy, the strong are still respected. He answered honestly, Fairy Bingchen, although my attitude was not good at the beginning, but Chen Mou was really hateful, extremely arrogant and irritating, and looked like he deserved a beating, so I couldn't help but take action. His Hanggang wanted to describe the scene, but he didn't know how to start for a while, and he was worried that his one-sided story would be hard to convince people. Looking around, he asked, did you record it just now? With a video, he could naturally distinguish what happened just now. Even if I take a step back and say that I am wrong, it is not entirely my responsibility. Chen Mou should at least bear half of it. After the questioning, many students looked at each other and were unmoved. Most of the people here are freshmen, so naturally they cannot help his Hanggang. Even if someone wants to please his Hanggang, they will give up the idea after seeing the power of Chen Mou, Su Dao and Wang Jun's. His Hanggang is just awesome, but these three are all awesome, so it goes without saying how to stand on the same side. A sophomore student was about to step out and take out the video, but he saw Lin Sichen shaking his head slightly. Chen Mou and I are friends. He is generous and humble. How could you be the kind of person you said? When the sophomore saw this scene, he took back the steps he had just taken, and quietly took 2 steps back and hid in the crowd. The big boss has spoken, and it is not appropriate to jump out and sing the opposite tune. Others were also thoughtful. They didn't expect that the always cold Fairy Chen actually knew Chen Mou and was quite protective of him. But does Chen Mou's performance just now have anything to do with generosity and humility? This kid is so good at pretending. Jealous eyes were cast on Chen Mou. If eyes could kill, Chen Mou would have been pierced by thousands of arrows. His Hanggang snorted coldly, without much explanation, flicked his sleeves, and strode towards the door. He was in trouble today. He didn't expect that Chen Mou not only had a friendship with Wang Jun's, but also knew Lin Sichen. But he would not be afraid of Chen Mou because of this. He would have to have fun when he had the chance in the future. Lin Sichen ignored his Hanggang and looked around. A good party, what has it become now? The ground was full of broken wood chips and traces of food and snacks. The fierce fight just now also damaged some floor tiles. The most important thing is that after this commotion, the atmosphere of the party was gone. But other students obviously didn't think so. Today's scene was wonderful and much more fun than a harmonious party. Hello, Sister Chen. Ignoring the murderous eyes of everyone, Chen Mou ran up to get close to her. Lin Sichen blinked her beautiful eyes and looked at Chen Mou. Your strength is beyond my expectation. Although I didn't see the scene just now, I think you didn't suffer any loss at the hands of his Hengayang. His Hengayang's strength is already very good. After all, Xiao Xinghua is on the list. Chen Mou has just entered school and did not suffer any loss in fighting with him. His talent is a few points stronger than Lin Sichen expected. Su Dao and Wang Jun's also came up to say hello. Su Dao's performance was relatively plain, while Wang Jun's revealed respect. He could be high profile to his Hengayang, but he didn't dare to be presumptuous in front of Lin Sichen. Chen Mou asked, Sister Chen, why are you here? With Lin Sichen's personality, she should not like to attend any party, but she came here specially today, which was obviously a bit unusual. Lin Sichen said, this party is organized by the Student Union. I am the vice president of the Student Union. Although I am just a figurehead, it is not justifiable to do nothing all day. Chen Mou suddenly realized that he was here to clean up the mess. Lin Sichen called a few canteen staff to coordinate the cleaning and discuss compensation. The matter was not complicated. After handling it, he turned around and walked out. Chen Mou thought about it and followed. Looking at Chen Mou's back, Wang Jun said angrily, this kid really values love over friendship. He left us for Fairy Chen. Su Dao glanced at him and said, why don't you follow him and try to get close to him? Forget it, Fairy Chen probably doesn't like me either. Wang Jun's is very self-aware. By the way, are you and him from the same hometown? What's the background of our roommate? He met Lin Sichen when he first came to Xinghua. This background seems unusual. He and I just went to the same high school. We are just nodding acquaintances. To be honest, I don't know him very well. Su Dao recalled the rapid rise of Chen Mou and was also a little confused. This speed of strength improvement is a bit unreasonable. Wang Jun said, that's right. You and he are not from the same hometown. He is a pure native of East China province. We are both from other provinces. You are from the Su family of Yun province. Seeing Su Dao's sharp gaze sweeping over, he didn't continue. Su Dao didn't say much, and walked towards the door. After this commotion, the party seemed boring. Moreover, the provincial champions among the freshmen were not seen here. I don't know if they are in other cafeterias or not participating at all. The other students scattered like birds and beasts. Although the party was not very successful, it was still very enjoyable to see a wonderful show, and there was a lot of talk. Overall, I was not disappointed. On the tree-lined path of Xinghua Academy, Chen Mou followed Lin Sichen and asked, I heard that we freshmen will be arranged to go to the secret realm tomorrow to undergo trials. I wonder what the environment is like inside. Chapter 106 The Secret of the Secret Realm. Hearing Chen Mou's question, Lin Sichen thought for a while, I can't say much about this secret realm. I was also arranged to go in for training when I was a freshman, and I got a lot of benefits, but compared to the vast area inside, we didn't explore very many places. You have to remember, unless it is necessary, never enter the Black Forest. That place is a forbidden place and hides great dangers. Some people have gone into exploring previous years, and some people have obtained treasures, but the vast majority of people have never come out again. The probability of obtaining treasures and then successfully walking out is not even 1 in 1,000. You have a high talent and it's not worth taking the risk. Even if you don't set foot in the Black Forest, just search in some relatively safe areas, you can get a lot of benefits. That year I discovered a cave and got a magic fruit, which improved my physique and made my cultivation progress by leaps and bounds. Other students also have their own opportunities. Chen Mou said in some surprise, since there are opportunities in the Black Forest, why don't the saints go in to explore? The environment in the Black Forest is very dangerous for students, but with the cultivation of saints, they should be able to walk on flat ground. Lin Sichen opened her cherry lips and said, it's not that simple. Xinghua Academy cannot completely control this secret realm. It just uses some of its characteristics to build a passage for students to take the test. According to the test, the mysterious masters at the level of Miracle Master and above cannot enter the secret realm and will be excluded, even the saints are no exception. Chen Mou said, that's true. The universe is so big and there are so many wonderful things. Even saints have to abide by the rules. He suspected that this secret realm was opened up by a great cosmic power. It just had a passage that connected to Ziggy Star inexplicably. Maybe this secret realm was also for the disciples of the sect to take the test. However, judging from the fact that students in previous years did not encounter alien intelligent creatures, it was either because the secret realm was too large and the activity areas of the two did not overlap, or because the sect had been destroyed and no disciples were taking the test. When Lin Sichen heard Chen Mou's words, a glimmer of light flashed in his eyes. Saints also have to abide by the rules. This is very insightful. Nowadays, people have a blind worship of saints, believing that saints can crush anything with their tyrannical power. In fact, if you really come into contact with a saint, you will know that saints also have helpless moments, and not everything can be solved by force. In a word, your strength is already very strong, but it is not strong enough. Lin Sichen is from a saint family, and is very clear about this. Chen Mou, who was born in an ordinary family, can also see it so clearly, which is very rare. At that time, I went to the border of the Black Forest and looked at it from afar, but I didn't dare to go in. Just looking at it, I felt a sense of fear, as if there were extremely terrifying existences inside. Saints cannot enter the secret realm, and even if they can, I feel that they may not be able to get any benefits in the Black Forest. Lin Sichen continued to recall. Chen Mou's heart moved, and he wanted to see the peculiarity of the Black Forest. It's better not to commit suicide. He persuaded himself in his heart. Not everyone is as easy to talk to as Mr. Grey Wolf, the ancient god. There are many extremely evil beings in the universe. It is common to bloodbath planets and devour clans. By the way, you offended his Hengayang today, you have to be careful in the future. Lin Sichen reminded, he is a person with strength, but a small temper. Why did you deliberately provoke him? Although Lin Sichen was more protective of Chen Mou in the cafeteria, she actually knew that the two of them must have disliked each other and neither of them was willing to give in, which led to the conflict. Maybe Chen Mou did it on purpose. I'm not afraid of him. Chen Mou replied, with plain words, but revealed strong self-confidence. The two talked for a while, and Chen Mou thanked Lin Sichen and returned to his dormitory. He originally wanted to go to the commercial district to buy some nutrient solution, condensing god wood and other cultivation resources, but now he was about to enter the secret realm, so he decided to give up for the time being. In a small pavilion in the dormitory area of Xinghua Academy, a handsome young man sat leisurely on his seat, looking at Feng Xian with a half-smile on his face. You want me to deal with Chen Mou in the secret realm? Feng Xian took a deep breath and said, this is what senior brother His Hengayang meant. I am just responsible for conveying it. If you can accomplish this, you will definitely get senior brother his care and advice in the future. The handsome man sneered, who is he? Can he give me advice? Feng Xian heard this, and anger flashed across his face, but he quickly suppressed it. He knew the other party's ability. This young man was the provincial champion of southern Sichuan province, named Meng Ziming, and his strength was unfathomable. But it was too arrogant. Feng Xian was very dissatisfied with such people who were arrogant because of their strength. You can't say that. You are going to train in the secret realm and are a competitor with Chen Mou. Dealing with Chen Mou is just a matter of convenience, and you can also make friends with senior brother His Hengayang. Why not do it? Although he was unhappy with him, Feng Xian still tried hard to persuade him. Meng Ziming showed a thoughtful look on his face, and waved his hand. Okay, you go back, I will consider this matter. Although he was very dissatisfied with Meng Ziming's attitude of chasing away flies, Feng Xian did not dare to get angry and left obediently. He was quite satisfied with the results this time. Although the other party did not directly agree, this matter would most likely be successful. However, Feng Xian would naturally not pin his hopes on him alone, and invited more than a dozen young masters to come out in a row. Some people explicitly refused and did not want to get involved in this matter, while others agreed after thinking for a while. After all these things were done, Feng Xian smiled coldly. Chen Mou, don't think that you can be arrogant just because you have some strength. The rules of this world are not as simple as you think. Thinking of the scene of being slapped in the face by Chen Mou today, Feng Xian felt a burning pain on his face. The most humiliating thing was that he retreated and was scared by Chen Mou and dared not say much. But he would be able to get back soon. Feng Xian couldn't wait to see Chen Mou being besieged and finally knocked to the ground. I must rush up and kick him a few more times. Well, I can't rush too early. I have to wait until Chen Mou loses his fighting ability, otherwise I can't beat him. This poor student from the bottom of society is too cruel. Chen Mou didn't know Fang Xian's actions. He was in the dormitory, taking out the ancient god lighthouse to study. Since Chen Mou got this lighthouse, he has never figured out its peculiarity. Although it helps Chen Mou condense the shape of his mental power, there is no more performance. No matter how Chen Mou tried, bombarded with miracle power, and penetrated with mental power, the opponent was indifferent, and of course there was no damage. Chapter 107 Lin Chuanzuo. What is the use of this lighthouse? If I hadn't asked Mr. Grey Wolf at that time, how long would it take me to study it? Chen Mou sighed. This lighthouse was obviously extraordinary. He had tried to bombard it with miracle power and smashed it with a hammer, but it didn't cause any damage to it, not even a scratch. This lighthouse was too strong. Chen Mou had thought of using it as a weapon, but it was too small to use it as a brick. What he was most worried about was what spell this lighthouse needed to unlock its power. If that was the case, unless he asked Mr. Grey Wolf, it would be difficult to get any results by exploring it on his own. Helplessly putting away the lighthouse, Chen Mou practiced silently, adjusted his physical condition, and greeted tomorrow's trial in the best condition. Time passed in the blink of an eye. The next morning, the head teacher Du Zheng came to the dormitory area and summoned all the students in the class to wait in an area in front of the secret realm. This area was very vast, gathering a large number of students. Du Zheng led Chen Mou and others to the area where Class 5 was located and waited. You just wait here, don't go out of the area of Class 5, you can move freely. Du Zheng said, then turned and left. Seeing Du Zheng's figure gradually going away, some students were stunned. Is he leaving now? He hasn't arranged it yet. The class teacher should come back, right? I heard that after entering college, it is rare to see the class teacher a few times a year. They were a little bit skeptical at first, but now they believe it a little. Although Du Zheng said that they could move freely, the students of Class 5 were not too relaxed, and they were a little restrained. They didn't know how difficult the secret trial would be in a while. Before they really entered, everyone was unsure. But a beautiful girl didn't feel nervous at all. She took out her mobile phone and started browsing, looking very relaxed. She was wearing a blue and white jacket, brown and yellow casual trousers, and a pair of white sneakers. The simple clothes she wore gave her a simple and clean feeling. Her long hair was tied into a single ponytail and scattered behind her. Her eyebrows were like pictures, her face was a little round, and her eyes narrowed slightly when she smiled, which was very innocent. This outfit is still the appearance of a high school student. Even now, many high school students will not dress like this. It is much more fashionable than this. The classmates in the class glanced at this girl from time to time, but no one thought that her clothes were out of date. Instead, they thought that it should be like this. She was like a girl next door, exuding the breath of youth and sunshine. Seeing that Chen Mou could not help but look at him a few times, Wang Zhens reached out and patted him on the back. What are you looking at so fascinated? He remembered that Chen Mou said that he was a busybody. Aren't you the same? There are two types of men, those who are lustful and those who are very lustful. Chen Mou withdrew his gaze without leaving a trace. I am just appreciating beautiful things. The ancients once said that if you appreciate beautiful things quietly without thinking about possessing them, you can be called a saint. Wang Zhens tilted his head and pondered for a while. Did the ancients say this? Seeing Su Dao and He's Haij next to him were silent and indifferent, Wang Zhens couldn't help but ask, do you think the ancients said this? The ancients said, it's up to you, everything is what I said. He's Haij replied lightly. Su Dao was still taciturn and not very interested in this kind of thing. The four were chatting, and a classmate nearby came over and bowed in a literary manner. Hello, classmates, I am also from Class 5, my name is Song Lin, it seems that you are all in the same boat. Chen Mou immediately waved his hand. I am not, I have received the teachings of the saints. I can't let these two people involve me, I am a model of integrity. Neither am I. What kind of women have I not seen? I have seen through the world. Wang Zhens sighed, his face full of vicissitudes. That's a pity. Song Lin said, I heard that the girl's name is Lin Chuanzuo. To be honest, I didn't expect that she was actually our classmate. Isn't the list of school beauties in Xinghua Academy going to change? She was listed as a candidate as soon as she entered the school. The votes in the school forum have soared. Maybe she can be shortlisted for the new school beauties. In the current forum, the number of freshmen registered is still relatively small. It's all the senior brothers who vote. Tisk tisk. He didn't finish his words, but the meaning was already very clear. He noticed the junior sister as soon as he entered the school. Sima Zhao's intentions are known to passers-by. Wang Jun's clapped his hands immediately. It's really unreasonable. These senior brothers are too shameless. They don't know how to care for junior brothers. Senior sisters belong to junior brothers, and junior sisters should also belong to junior brothers. Not bad. Song Lin's eyes were slightly excited. He looked at Wang Jun's and met his soulmate. Song Lin continued, since he is a classmate, we must protect him. We must not let the senior brother succeed no matter what. Otherwise, it will be a shame for our class 5. His words were powerful and righteous. Wang Jun's could not help but admire his spirit. There are not many students who are selfless and only benefit others. Next to Lin Chuanzuo stood a woman who was dressed more fashionably. Looking around, she noticed that the eyes of people around her were all focused on her. Her name was Su Zhuan. She was wearing clothes that were personally customized by a master designer. Although they did not look particularly luxurious, they were well-fitting. Under a chiffon shirt, there was white skin like snow, and there was a holy aura on her body. This outfit was not a luxury item, but better than a luxury item, because the cost was much higher than the luxury clothes sold on the market. But at this moment, Su Zhuan seemed very depressed, because the eyes of the classmates in the class were obviously attracted to Lin Chuanzuo, and even the eyes of the next class were also cast on him. How could the clothes that she spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on not be as attractive as the clothes of others who only cost 1 or 200 yuan? Su Zhuan had to doubt her appearance. Was it really that much worse than Lin Chuanzuo's? I heard from others that whether clothes are beautiful or not depends on the person. A beautiful woman in a school uniform is stunningly stunning. If you are not good looking, it doesn't matter how beautiful your clothes are. But since she was a child, she believed that she was not much inferior to others in appearance. Chuanzuo, many classmates are looking at you. Su Zhuan whispered beside this roommate. Oh, let them be. Lin Chuanzuo seemed to have gotten used to it. He swiped his phone and his eyelashes trembled slightly. What are you looking at? Su Zhuan was a little surprised. The trial was about to begin. Why was Lin Chuanzuo still looking at her phone? Wasn't she nervous at all? I'm following the science fiction novels on the Zhuan's Exchange Network. This author writes too slowly. After Lin Chuanzuo finished speaking, he swiped and just reached the bottom of the article. The chapter ended. Chapter 108 Trial Demon Seed. Su Zhuan stretched his neck and glanced at the content on the phone screen, only to see the words author, dog-headed military advisor 1. Oh, so it's this book. I've read it too, but I haven't seen the latest chapter yet. Su Zhuan remembered. Lin Chuanzuo put away his phone, stretched his body, and immediately attracted a crowd of onlookers. Do you think the content described in this novel is true? In it, human civilization has reached the level of a Dyson sphere, and energy is inexhaustible. At this time, humans don't have to work, they can enjoy every day, and everything is done by robots. Because even the manufacture of robots and the repair of broken robots are handled by the robots themselves. How should I know this? Our current technology is still far from manufacturing a Dyson sphere. But I see that the Red Moon Empire and the Almond Empire in the novel have been in constant friction recently, and the confrontation will soon escalate. When the day of war really comes, I wonder if the good days of these people who don't work all day will come to an end. Su Zhuan was obviously very clear about the plot on the novel and was very concerned about the direction of the next plot. These people live in a muddle all day long, which is not a big deal. They are all supported by the empire. The situations of these two super empires are very similar, but the Almond Empire carried out a reform 30 years ago, cutting welfare and stipulating that people must work hard to research and contribute to science and technology in order to enjoy greater privileges. Lin Chuanzuo said, frowning, and faintly showing his worry about the Red Moon Empire, because in the novel, the Red Moon Empire is the protagonist. Robots can work, but they are very rigid. If you want to make breakthroughs and innovations in science and technology, you still have to rely on human intelligence. Although the reform of the Almond Empire has caused a lot of complaints, the effect is also significant. For the sake of welfare, a research boom has been set off across the country, and science and technology has soared in the past 30 years. After the expansion of strength, ambitions have also grown. The Almond Empire has set its sights on its old rival, the Red Moon Empire, and has been constantly testing it recently. The reform of the Red Moon Empire has not yet begun, and there is great resistance in all aspects. The entire empire is stuck in a quagmire and cannot extricate itself. However, these two empires are super civilizations spanning galaxies. It is still difficult to determine the winner. This will be a protracted war. After Lin Chuanzuo finished reading the latest chapter, he began towards the author in the comment section. Author, please update quickly. I will give you all the praise points. This is the 5th time she has urged for updates this month, but this dog-headed military advisor one is obviously very cold and ignores her, and the update speed is getting slower and slower. Lin Chuanzuo has no way to deal with this. Looking at the previous articles of dog-headed military advisor, it can be inferred that he is at least a big shot at the level of a law scholar. How could he care about a small reader like her? As for the advertising fee share brought by the good reviews, he doesn't care at all. A law scholar can probably earn more than 10 million yuan with just one shot. However, Lin Chuanzuo still persisted in giving good reviews, and even went to the official mall to buy some praise points. She believed that one day her sincerity would move the other party and directly let him update hundreds of thousands of words. In the dean's office, an old man with vigor and vitality asked a middle-aged man in front of him, Director Liu, have you arranged the demon species needed for the trial? The middle-aged man nodded and said respectfully, Dean Kong, everything has been arranged. We are just waiting for the students to enter. Okay. You will be responsible for this matter. Pay attention to the inspection. The realm of these demon species must not exceed the initial stage of miracle apprentice. Xinghua Academy is divided into 10 colleges for the convenience of management. Dean Kong is the dean of one of the colleges, named Kong Dexiao. This freshman trial is not taken very seriously. It is just a routine project. Even the vice president did not show up. Kong Dexiao is the highest person in charge. But then again, it is actually very good to let the dean show up. For general school affairs, at most the director level is dispatched. This director Liu is called Liu Jingshan, and he is usually quite capable. Because the freshman trial is a routine project, many places have been explored. Even if there are dangers, they have been swept by previous students. And those areas in the Black Forest are absolutely not allowed for students to enter. Since there is no danger, the significance of the trial is greatly reduced, so the school came up with a trick, which is to capture some demon species to enter, which can achieve the purpose of the trial without too much risk. These demon species are species that have successfully cultivated after absorbing spiritual energy. Some are leopards, some are tigers, and there are many strange species that have undergone mutations and cannot be named. However, they all have the same characteristic, that is, their minds have been occupied by demonic thoughts, they are extremely fierce and like to kill, so they are called demon species. Liu Jingshan agreed and strode out. After many twists and turns, Liu Jingshan came to an area near the entrance of the secret realm. Director Liu. Hello, Director Liu. Some staff members recognized Liu Jingshan and greeted him. Liu Jingshan smiled and nodded. Are all the demon species needed for the trial ready? It's ready. Okay, take me to see. Under the guidance of the staff, Liu Jingshan moved forward more than 200 meters again and found the place where the demon species were placed in a back mountain. Each demon species was trapped in a special alloy cage. These cages were extremely hard. Although they were smashed and clanged, they were not damaged. If they were ordinary steel cages, they would have been pulled open by these demon species with their bare hands. Shocking roars rang out, such as tiger roars, leopard roars, and eagle hisses. The auras of these demon species were extremely terrifying. Some were even surrounded by demonic energy, with blood-red light in their eyes. They should all be at the initial stage of Miracle Apprentice, right? Don't exceed it. Liu Jingshan asked. A staff member in a blue uniform smiled and said, Don't worry, Director Liu, many of these demon species are at the beginner level. The highest is only the initial stage of Miracle Apprentice. There is definitely no middle level or above. We have checked them all. That's good. Liu Jingshan nodded. This trial is of great importance. Although injuries are inevitable, otherwise the purpose of the trial cannot be achieved. But it is best not to have deaths. The blue-clothed employee nodded to show that he understood. In fact, it was very expensive to get so many demon species. The realm of these demon species had at least reached the realm of beginners, that is, the Zuans. Moreover, demon species were mutated from animals, which were even rarer than human Zuans. The price of demon species at the middle and higher levels of Miracle Apprentice was much higher than that of ordinary demon species. How could they make a mistake and buy such things? I'll go and take a look. LV Jingshan threw down a sentence and walked towards the area where the demon species were located, carefully checking them one by one, walking and stopping. Director Liu is really dedicated. Several staff members who followed him sighed. Along the way, there were the roars of demon species, and the breath was fierce. If ordinary people came here, they would have been scared out of their wits, but LV Jingshan's face did not change at all. When he walked to the front of a cage, LV Jingshan stopped again. The other demon species were roaring non-stop, but this demon species sat quietly, looking very quiet. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 109: The Man Who Must Be Killed. This demon species is a bit like a human, and a bit like an ape. Its limbs are covered with hair, and it sits quietly in an alloy cage. Its eyes are dark, with a faint light, and black hair lingers around it. Liu Jingshan stood in front of the cage, with his back to the many staff members. A little bit of strange light lit up from his eyes, forming a mysterious symbol. The eyes of the demon ape also lit up instantly, and the faint light became brighter, but soon dimmed and returned to its original appearance. An image information appeared in its mind, forming a picture. That was Chen Mou and Lin Xuanzuo. Along with it, there was also a voice: "These two people must be killed." The voice was a bit illusory, as if it came from the sky, and it was obviously different from Liu Jingshan's tone. When the demon ape heard this voice, it shuddered slightly, and fear flashed in its eyes. But then it turned into a killing thought. Its intelligence was not high, and it only knew to follow orders. The blue-clothed staff came over and introduced with a smile, "Director Liu, this is a demon ape we bought. It is contaminated with some demonic energy and mutated from apes. It has enough power to reach the peak of the first stage of the miracle appresentis. It is estimated that it is not far from breaking through the middle stage of the miracle appresentis." As he said this, he was also a little surprised. There was a demonic energy on this demon ape, but it was not as violent as other demon species. Its eyes were full of madness. This demon ape has been very quiet since it was transported here, which made him doubt whether it can achieve the effect of the trial. Maybe there will be no conflict between this demon ape and the students when they meet. Miracle Apprentice First Stage. Liu Jingshan's mouth showed a strange smile, but no one could see it from this angle. He did not stay in front of this cage for too long and continued to walk to the next alloy cage to check. There are too many demon species here. It is impossible to see them all at a glance. It is estimated that there are at least more than 1,000. Liu Jingshan looked at them one by one at first, but later he was really impatient and swept to his spiritual sense. A strong pressure appeared, and the roars suddenly disappeared. This power was like the might of heaven, which made them terrified. Several staff members showed envy on their faces. I really hope that one day, I can also obtain this kind of power. After scanning all the demons, Liu Jingshan patted the staff on the shoulder and encouraged, "No problem, everyone has worked hard." Several staff members were refreshed and quickly said it's not hard and it should be done. "You guard here first, don't relax. It is estimated that the students will soon enter the secret realm. After they have been in for a while, we will send the demons in." Liu Jingshan gave an order and turned to the direction of the entrance of the secret realm. When he arrived, Dean Kong had already lectured in front of the freshmen, emphasizing some precautions. Although Kong Deshao's hair was gray, his mental state was still very good. His body did not look old, and he exuded a strong vitality. While speaking, the lore roared, shaking the entire area, and every word was extremely clear. Please pay great attention to this trial, because the seniors have explored the nearby area during the entrance trial. Even if there are any treasures, most of them have been discovered. You can continue to move forward and explore farther away. But no matter what, you must remember one thing, that is, never go into the Black Forest. The trees in the Black Forest are all black, even the leaves are black. This is its most obvious feature. Once you enter, there is basically no chance to get out. I know that many of you are young geniuses, and you think highly of yourself and think that you have extraordinary luck. Maybe you will become a special one, but here, don't gamble with your life. In fact, we have calculated that even if a saint enters the Black Forest, he will encounter great danger and die. The 9 deaths here are not an adjective, but a calculated probability. 10 saints who go in may have 1 out. Because saints cannot enter the secret realm at all and are restricted, they cannot enter the Black Forest, and can only be calculated based on theory. Kong Deshao did not elaborate on the calculation process, but as the dean, his words are naturally credible. The students' eyes were filled with deep surprise. In their eyes, saints were invincible. How could they encounter danger and even be left inside? In addition to the Black Forest being an absolute restricted area, other places are also dangerous, and this is uncontrollable, because some seemingly peaceful places can suddenly turn murderous in an instant. In addition, to increase the challenge, we will put about 1,500 demon species into the secret realm after you have been in for a while. Hearing this, the students' faces became even more bitter. The Black Forest has obvious characteristics, so just avoid it, but some places that hide dangers have no obvious characteristics, and sometimes you don't even know when they are triggered. What's more, the school is still preparing to put in so many demon species. If there are also fierce beasts in the secret realm, it will be a lot of trouble. They can see that Xinghua Academy is trying to make things difficult for them. In fact, there are quite a few students here, at least 2,000 people, which is more than the number of demon species. However, the bodies of demon species are strong, and their combat power is generally stronger than that of humans at the same level. They are also fierce and fearless, which is something the students cannot compare to. The students had gone through some hard training in high school, but they had relatively little experience in actual combat. Many of them had never even seen blood, and once they collided with the demons, their aura would be suppressed to the extreme. There is one more thing to emphasize. There may be deaths in this trial. Or rather, it is not possible, but inevitable, because there have been casualties in every previous class. As soon as these words came out, the students' faces changed drastically. At first, they thought that although it was difficult, they should be able to get through it safely, just like the trials that high school often conducts. The process is difficult, but after passing it, their strength will improve. Moreover, there has never been a death in the trials of high school. At most, there is only a serious injury. Death is a very distant thing. This was unexpected, but it was reasonable. There were dangers in it, and with so many demons involved, accidents were inevitable. This trial is very dangerous. The school will not force you to participate. If you don't want to take risks, you can withdraw now and leave directly. You have 30 minutes to consider. After 30 minutes, the secret realm will be opened. Those who still decide to participate can enter. Those who intend to leave will not be punished or discriminated against. The school will still treat everyone equally in the future. Kong Deshao's words came. The students were in a tangled situation for a while. Leaving is naturally safe, but it also loses an opportunity. But if they don't leave, they may die. They thought that after becoming a mysterious person, there will be a moment to face life and death, but they didn't expect it to come so soon. Chapter 110 Entering the Secret Realm. Many students were caught in a dilemma. Leaving would be safe, but they would also lose an opportunity to become stronger. There must be many treasures in the secret realm. What's more terrible is that if they retreat this time, they will lose their breath. The mysterious people want to fight for their breath, and they must be brave and diligent, and move forward. But the danger in the secret realm can also be expected. Even the dean has to emphasize it solemnly, which is obviously not simple. What's more, the place where the demons are located is not far from here. The roar and the fierce breath make people faintly frightened. Many students are still in the beginner realm, and they have not even reached the miracle apprentice realm. It is very dangerous to face these demons. Think about it, there are only 3 people in Yonghui City who have reached the miracle apprentice realm. If you add Chen Mou who broke through later, that's 4 people. The 4 famous schools recruited 10 people in Yonghui City, and more than half of them did not reach the miracle apprentice realm. The more than 2,000 Xinghua students on the scene also meet this situation. Even only about 30% of them have reached the miracle apprentice realm, and the rest are beginners. Dean Kong Deshao watched quietly and did not urge. It was agreed that the students would be given 30 minutes to consider, so that they could think carefully and not make a decision in the heat of the moment. If they were only given 3 minutes to consider, many people would be so excited that they would think that they must not back down, otherwise they would appear too cowardly and be looked down upon by others. But after this time was increased tenfold, many people would become rational, weigh the pros and cons, and make the most appropriate decision. If the students were really injured or killed in the secret realm, that was their choice. Xinghua Academy would not give more than the pension, nor would it take any responsibility. This is the reality, this is the path of the mystic. At this moment, their identities are not students, but mystic. The mystic is not a closed-door practice, and can improve the realm comfortably. Time passed bit by bit, and students came out one after another and left the venue. This is giving up. They are all beginners, and they are not very sure. Being admitted to Xinghua Academy is the beginning of their glory, but if they lose their lives here just after entering school, it is too worthless. Maybe this action seems cowardly, but they have parents and families behind them. They should not only be responsible for themselves, but also for their families. At the beginning, there were relatively few people who left, but under the leadership of the first and second students, more and more students came out. Among them, there were even students in the realm of miracle apprentices who left because they were really unsure. After coming out, these people felt relieved and put down a burden, but looking at the entrance of the secret realm, they were not without a look of loss. They were also in the realm of beginners. They retreated, but there were still many people who did not move and stood quietly in the team. The secret realm is a dangerous place, but also a place of opportunity. Unfortunately, this opportunity has nothing to do with them. In the end, 200 or 300 people left, and the rest of the students chose to stay and accept the trial. Chen Mou silently looked at these students who left. He could understand them, but he would not be one of them. The time has come, open the secret realm. Kong Deshao's eyes flashed with brilliance, and an extremely domineering aura emanated from him, as if he was the master of the law. The rules here are controlled by me. On the left and right of Kong Deshao, 2 middle-aged men also burst out with a strong aura. They are also the deans of Xinghua Academy. In terms of identity and strength, they are not inferior to Kong Deshao. But Kong Deshao has the longest experience, so this trial is still presided over by him. Weird runes appeared in the sky, with scattered lines and constantly changing. This is the projection of the law. The 3 deans took action together, and the power shook the world. The students present were shocked. In front of the law, their miracle power seemed a little ordinary, and their status was completely suppressed. A sense of overwhelming power rose in his heart. Chen Mou's face was very calm. One day, he would have this kind of power. Even if he had no memory of the future and didn't know his own development process, he firmly believed that he would become stronger and stronger. If a person doesn't even believe in himself, who can he believe in? The phantom of the rune in the sky was dim and blurred at first, and gradually became more and more solid. During this process, many staff members held small instruments and distributed them to the students. What is this? A student took it and looked at it. It was round and made of something that looked like gold but not gold, iron but not iron. There was a pointer inside that was swinging. This thing is called an astrolabe, but it's a simplified version and its functions are not as good as a real astrolabe. You can think of it as a compass, but it's more advanced than a compass. The staff tried their best to explain. The compass relies on the magnetic field of the planet itself. The magnetic field of the secret realm you are about to enter is scattered, and the compass can't be used at all. This astrolabe has a trace of lock power, which can accurately locate the entrance, so that you can find the way back after the trial is over. Those who were able to be admitted to Xinghua Academy were not stupid. They understood the purpose of this thing in a few simple sentences, which was to prevent getting lost. If you run too far during the training process and don't return here in time when the trial is over, you may miss the opportunity to return. Go. The 3 deans shouted in a low voice, and with a wave of their arms, the runes in the sky rushed down together, like a galaxy pouring back, straight to a huge rock on the ground. Under the infusion of runes, the boulder emitted a faint light. After this process lasted for 5 minutes, the light of the boulder reached its peak, and all the runes were gathered together to form a beam of light, which shone obliquely into the void. An illusory portal was opened, and through this door, you can see that there is a grand world behind it. Only a corner was exposed, and you could vaguely see that there were green trees and swaying flowers and plants on the ground. Rich spiritual energy rushed out from inside. The concentration of spiritual energy in Xinghua Academy was already high enough, but it seemed to be a little behind this secret realm. Every student, follow the cue, start from the left, and enter in a row. Don't get confused. Kong Deshao's words came. The students on the left were happy. If they entered early, they might be able to seize the opportunity and find treasures. In contrast, the students on the right were a little depressed, but there was nothing they could do. The virtual door of this secret realm was so small that it was obviously impossible for them to enter at the same time. However, considering that the area near the gate had already been explored by the senior brothers and sisters, if they wanted to have the opportunity, they would have to walk a distance, so it didn't matter if they followed the order. The remaining 2,000 students entered in order, and soon all of them entered the venue, leaving the original venue empty. Then, drones flew up and also rushed into the secret realm. The purpose of these drones was to take aerial photos and keep track of the students' dynamics at any time. Chapter 111. This treasure is destined for me. As the students and the drone entered, the passage slowly closed, but if you look closely, you can see that there is still a small gap, which is almost invisible. This gap is used to receive the information sent back by the drone. One day later, we will come here again to open the passage and release the demon seeds. Let them look for opportunities during this day. As for how much strength they can improve, it depends on luck. Kong Deshao and the other two deans led the teachers and staff present and left. When Chen Mou stepped into the secret realm, he immediately felt an invisible pressure, which seemed to have some restrictions on the realm. According to Lin Sijin, the realm of creatures here will be suppressed below the Miracle Master. Now Chen Mou is still far from this realm, and the pressure he feels is very light, almost non-existent. If it weren't for his strong mental power and sensitivity, he wouldn't feel it. The vast ancient breath came, and the trees here were much taller than they looked from the outside. A large area was full of towering trees, which were as thick as 5 or 6 people hugging, and were unknown how many meters high, piercing the sky. The lush leaves covered the sky and cast shadows. There was a fierce howl in the sky, and a huge hawk flew by and then flew away. There are wild animals here too. Chen Mou looked up. The hawk was not very strong. It was at the beginner level, and its strength was estimated to be around 800 kilograms, but it was very fast, far exceeding the average beginner-level human. Compared with the demons arranged by the school, these local creatures are actually more threatening. The demons arranged by the school are all at the early stage of Miracle Apprentice or lower. Chen Mou is confident that he can easily defeat them. Even if he is besieged, he can escape far away and not entangle with them. But the level of the local creatures is hard to say. The strength of the low level is very weak, and it will be very difficult to deal with the high level. After the freshmen came in, they all tacitly dispersed, each seeking treasures and opportunities. Students at the Miracle Apprentice level generally choose to be lone rangers, while those at the beginner level choose to join forces to reduce risks. This has its pros and cons. If you act alone, you can monopolize all the benefits if you find a treasure. It is safer to act in a team, but you have to share the treasure after you find it. Chen Mou chose a direction and started running. With his current strength, his speed was faster than that of a car. The ground retreated at a high speed, and he ran a long distance in a short time. Where is the treasure? Chen Mou had a headache. He had visited many places along the way, but he didn't find anything special. The school didn't give him a treasure map. When Chen Mou was at a loss, a surprised voice came. This is really a rare treasure. After taking a bite, I feel that my whole body is nourished, and my muscles and bones are strengthened. It is much better than the effect of nutrient solution. Quick, Lanmei, let's pick all these fruits. If we can't finish them, we can take them out of the secret realm and take them again. Li Xin, you come to help too. Chen Mou restrained his breath, approached quickly, and then stayed in a suitable position and looked from afar. Because he deliberately hid his figure, the people in the distance were still unaware of his arrival and were immersed in the joy of obtaining treasures. There were 3 students in the distance, 2 boys and 1 girl. One of the 2 boys was wearing white clothes and the other was wearing black clothes. They were all very handsome. The woman was wearing a goose yellow dress. Although she was not stunningly beautiful, she was pretty and had a face like jade. The 3 of them were standing around a tree, picking yellow-skinned fruits from the tree and putting them into bags one by one. This tree was a little different from the other trees that towered into the sky. It was only 2 or 3 meters tall, and could be said to be a dwarf among the trees. From the conversation they had just had, it was estimated that they had already eaten the fruits. The energy contained in the fruits was very strong, so they could not eat too much and could only be picked and put away. The few of them continued to talk, all of them seemed very excited, discussing the plan to divide the fruits. From their conversation, Chen Mou learned that the man in white was called Yu Shu, the man in black was called Li Xin, and the woman was called Lan Mei. Seeing that the fruits were almost all picked, He rushed forward and shouted, "Students, stop!" Seeing that a man suddenly rushed out, they were all startled and looked at Chen Mou with vigilant eyes, holding the bags in their hands tightly. "Classmate, what can I do for you?" The man in black looked at Chen Mou warily. Could it be that this man also wants to share a piece of the pie? "We found it first. This treasure is destined to be with me," Chen Mou said calmly. "What does this mean?" The three people on the opposite side were a little confused. "These fruits were obviously discovered by us. You came so late, how could you be destined to have them?" Seeing their confused faces, Chen Mou couldn't help but think of them as pig brains. "Don't you understand what it means? We are all civilized people, so there is no need to say some things too bluntly." In the end, Yushu reacted, "Classmate, do you mean that we will give you a share of this fruit?" He looked at Chen Mou with fear in his eyes. He had witnessed the scene of Chen Mou resisting all the senior brothers in the Xinghuo canteen that day. He was envious and afraid of his domineering intention. At this time, he really didn't want to offend Chen Mou. How about giving him some fruits? He immediately discussed it with his two companions. Lan Mei was a little reluctant. "It was obviously something we found. How could you force us to have a share?" She was still in the mentality of a student and felt that this kind of thing was a little incredible. Li Xin was also very unhappy, but he was different from Lan Mei. He could see the situation clearly. The man opposite was probably not someone they could contend with. Among the three, the strongest was Yushu, who had reached the initial stage of miracle apprentice, while the other two were still at the peak of the beginner realm. Although they were not far from a breakthrough, they did not break through after all. Even Yushu was unwilling to go against Chen Mou, so what could he do? Both of them agreed, and Lan Mei could only nod. "Classmate, we have picked so few fruits in total. How about we split it equally?" Yushu opened the bag, revealing many golden fruits, bright and juicy, with a faint luster. Chen Mou laughed. These people were still students after all, and they were still very silly and naive. "I am the strongest here. You three combined can't beat me. How can I split it equally with you?" "No, I think this fruit has a great affinity with me, but not with you." Hearing Chen Mou's words, the three of them were stunned again, looking at each other. What does this mean? They really didn't understand, not pretending not to understand. "It means, rob, hand over everything to me." As soon as Chen Mou finished speaking, the three of them were all stunned. Chapter 112 Robbery, Hand over treasures. Robbery? The three wondered if there was something wrong with their ears. Isn't this Xinghuo Academy? They are all classmates. Why did someone suddenly come to rob them? What do you mean? Dream. We won't give you the fruit. The three shouted angrily. Even Yushu, who was extremely afraid of Chen Mou, refused angrily. Chen Mou also seemed depressed. These people were too young. It was really difficult to communicate with them. They were very stupid and naive. In the universe, the law of the jungle is a very common thing. For the sake of treasures, a clan is destroyed at any time. He just robbed some fruits. Why did it seem so heinous? Even if they didn't leave the universe, but were just in Ziggy Star, although there would not be robbery in normal times, it was not uncommon to fight with each other once they entered the secret realm. You, say it again. Chen Mou's momentum exploded, and the heavy pressure enveloped the three people opposite, making them feel a little uncomfortable to breathe. On that day, Yushu was just watching, belonging to the crowd, and had not faced Chen Mou's pressure directly, so he did not feel too deeply. Now that he really faced him, he felt that it was difficult to resist. Cold sweat broke out on his back. He was at the highest level, and he was a little scared, not to mention the other two. Lan Mei's petite body was trembling a little. Just now, she was the most dissatisfied with the distribution of fruits to Chen Mou, and thought that with the strength of the three of them, they were not afraid of Chen Mou at all. We can discuss it if there is anything. We can discuss it if there is anything. Li Xin advised. If you can beat him, then use fists. Now it is obviously impossible to beat him, so we have to discuss it properly. Chen Mou withdrew his pressure, and the three of them breathed a sigh of relief. Lan Mei was still a little angry. Aren't you afraid that the school will know about you doing this? The eyes of the two companions also lit up. Yes, we are classmates. If you dare to rob us, I will report you severely when I go out. Yushu was reminded by this, and he noticed the drones hovering in the sky. It was originally for monitoring to prevent any accidents from happening to students, and at the same time it was convenient for the school to organize rescue. But at the same time, this machine will definitely record the current scene. Classmate, this drone is recording the video and transmitting it back to the school at the same time. Maybe the school leaders are paying attention to this matter. He reminded. You will be in trouble when the time comes. He didn't dare to say this. Chen Mou smiled, and was shocked by the other party's naivety again. How could he not find out these things clearly if he dared to rob? In the secret realm, you can rob each other, which is also a kind of experience. This is what Lin Sixtian took the initiative to tell him. At that time, Chen Mou felt that this senior sister was quite bad. What did she teach him? A good young man. Stop talking nonsense and hand it over quickly. Chen Mou didn't buy their tricks at all. His eyes were fixed, and there was an invisible power that made the three people a little at a loss. We found this with great effort, and it took a lot of effort to pick it. You have to leave some for us. Lan Mei said aggrievedly. She really had never seen a person like Chen Mou. It was too unreasonable. Chen Mou came forward and snatched the bag. The three of them did not dare to resist for a moment and let him take it. He glanced at the fruit tree and pointed, there are still 3 fruits on it. I'll leave them to you. 1 for each of you. Then he turned and left. Lan Mei looked at Chen Mou's back and stamped her feet in anger. You are dead. What happened today must have been seen by the deans and left a bad impression. Then she looked up at the top of the tree. Fortunately, there were still 3 fruits on it, which they had not had time to pick just now. Yushu and Li Xin also felt a little comforted in their hearts. They thought that all of them would be snatched away, but they didn't expect that there would be 3 left. This was a pleasant surprise. Yushu jumped onto the fruit tree and picked all the yellow-skinned fruits, 1 in each hand. The 3 of them divided it equally, because each of them had eaten 1 just now, and their bodies were surging with energy, so they couldn't eat the second one, so they had to hide it to avoid encountering people like Chen Mou again. A burst of laughter broke out in the dean's office. The 3 deans gathered in Kong Deshao's office and watched the images on the surveillance screen. They had the same feeling as Chen Mou about these 3 people, that is, they were very silly and naive. How did Xinghua Academy recruit such cute students? We still need to strengthen education to let these students understand the cruelty of society. Otherwise, when they grow up and fight against aliens. One of the deans, Ma Ming's, smiled and his face became serious. It's too early. With their current strength, they are just cannon fodder against aliens. Another dean, Feng Liangping, waved his hand, and this is a fight between classmates. It's normal for them to be a little naive. They all feel that they have friendship with classmates. Ma Ming's nodded. That's right. Facing classmates and facing aliens, their performance must be different. He thought about it and said, but the key problem is that they don't even dare to resist Chen Mou. This is not good. They are afraid before fighting. We must increase our training in this area in the future. As the champion of the written test, Chen Mou is also well known. The 3 deans can call out his name at a glance. Kong Deshao and Feng Liangping nodded, which was considered to be agreement. On the other side, Chen Mou was counting the harvest. He counted a total of 23 fruits. Chen Mou took out a fruit, wiped the skin, and took a big bite. A wonderful feeling came over him. The golden fruit was fresh and juicy, and Chen Mou ate it very happily. As the digestion process progressed, a stream of energy was transmitted and spread to his limbs, which made Chen Mou feel refreshed. This fruit not only has the effect of strengthening the body, but also has a certain effect on improving mental strength. No wonder the 3 people looked sad and depressed when he robbed them. It's really a good thing. After eating 1, Chen Mou took out another 1 and ate it. Finally, he felt that the energy was overflowing, so he didn't eat the 3rd one. Chen Mou walked quickly, looking around, trying to imitate those people to find fruit trees. But along the way, he didn't find any trees with fruits. They were all towering trees. It's tall, but you are useless. You don't even grow any fruits. He also found a few caves, and was refreshed, ready to go in to look for opportunities. Unexpectedly, he encountered creatures at the high level of Miracle Apprentice as soon as he entered, and was directly blasted out. These creatures are strange in shape, some have scales, some have sharp teeth, and some can fly, and they can fly dozens of meters in a flash. Chen Mou felt that he was very difficult to provoke, so he could only retreat. These monsters are stronger than humans of the same realm, not to mention Chen Mou, who is only at the beginning of Miracle Apprentice. With his current strength, it is difficult to defeat him head-on. Seeing Chen Mou retreat, they did not chase him. These creatures felt that Chen Mou had an aura that frightened them, as if he was standing at the top of the food chain. If it was not necessary, they did not want to provoke him. Chapter 113 My turn. After a day, Chen Mou ate 10 fruits and felt that his strength had improved a lot. During this period, Chen Mou finally gained something and found a fruit-bearing plant, but the effect of these fruits was very ordinary. Chen Mou didn't want to continue picking after picking 2 or 3. Since the effect is not great, it is also a hindrance to hold it. Chen Mou doesn't have any space magic weapon that can store a lot of things. And Xinghua Academy also took action, opening the passage again and throwing more than 1,000 demon species here. The personalities of these demon species are very fierce, they love killing, and they are not normal creatures. Like the indigenous creatures in the caves that Chen Mou encountered, although they are at a high level, they did not chase Chen Mou relentlessly. If they encounter demon species, even if they are still at the initial stage of the Miracle Apprentice realm, they will definitely rush up and fight Chen Mou desperately. Of course, Chen Mou is not afraid of 1 or 2, but it will be a bit troublesome if he is besieged. However, he has walked a long distance, and the two cannot encounter each other for a while. Chen Mou continued to move quickly, and suddenly heard a voice. Quick, let's join forces to kill this demon leopard. When I went in just now, I saw a bottle of elixir inside. Although I don't know what its effect is, it is definitely extraordinary in the secret realm. Unfortunately, before I could take it, the leopard found it and chased me out. Chen Mou was delighted. There was actually an elixir. This is a good thing. In fact, elixir is not something difficult to understand. It is nothing more than some extremely precious medicinal materials that are refined through special techniques to concentrate their essence. Taking elixir is equivalent to taking natural treasures. However, during the refining process, the medicinal properties of the medicinal materials must cooperate with each other, otherwise they will become highly toxic. But if they are refined well, the medicinal properties will cooperate with each other, and the effect will be increased by 3 points. Chen Mou looked up and saw 7 men and 3 women standing in front of him, divided into 2 teams. One team had 3 men and 2 women, and the other team had 4 men and 1 woman. These 10 people surrounded a creature that was pitch black and shaped like a leopard. It should be the demon leopard they mentioned. The demon leopard stood up with its whole body tense, and looked at everyone with a pair of green eyes. The 10 people focused their main attention on the demon leopard, but the 2 teams were also wary of each other, and kept a little distance between them. Can you understand what we are saying? A young man in blue walked out and communicated with the demon leopard. We want the elixir in the cave. If you are willing to leave, we will not stop you. The aura of this demon leopard was very strong, and it seemed to be at the middle stage of the Miracle Apprentice, and it was much stronger than some humans at the middle stage of the Miracle Apprentice. They did not want to fight it head-on. Like Wang Haoqiang, whom Chen Mou met, although he was at the middle stage of the Miracle Apprentice, he was really a dish. It was estimated that he had not experienced any battles, but only achieved this state through silent practice. This demon leopard was obviously different, with a hint of killing intent. Hearing the words of that person, the demon leopard showed contempt in his eyes, and his murderous intent became even stronger. It could understand, and seeing the humane scene of the demon leopard, these students made a judgment. But this demon leopard was obviously very arrogant, and was not afraid of the opponent's large number of people. It seemed that they could only fight hard. A student tightened his grip on the longsword and took an attacking stance. It's a pity that the school doesn't allow us to bring laser weapons or sniper rifles. At most, we can only bring a longsword or a broadsword. He felt a little regretful. In fact, after practicing to the current level, the stronger students have a body as hard as steel, so the use of cold weapons is not particularly effective. But it's better than nothing. An inch longer is an inch stronger. Moreover, if the longsword is covered with the miracle power, it will be very sharp, much stronger than ordinary swords. The magic leopard didn't wait for them to launch an attack and pounce directly. The afterimage flashed, and its speed was too fast. It instantly crossed a long distance and killed one of the female students. The fishy wind surged, and the green eyes flashed with cruel light. The female student was directly frightened and stunned. It was too fast to react. The leopard's claws were shining with the cold light, and the result of a scratch was a serious injury and death. Stop. The 3 students closest to the female student attacked together. One rushed up and kicked the magic leopard. The other one held a longsword and blasted out a sword. Another one rushed to the female student and quickly pulled her away. Facing the siege of 2 people, the magic leopard was not afraid. His body was as strong as steel. He took a kick and a sword, then slapped one person away with a palm, and swept the other person's chest with a sweep of his tail. He took several steps back before he stabilized his body. After being hit twice, the magic leopard was not completely unscathed. A shallow scratch appeared on his body. On the other side, the female student was still in shock. She was so close to death just now. She took a few deep breaths before she calmed down. She was the weakest among the 10 people. This magic leopard seemed to be quite smart and knew how to find a breakthrough. Leopards are animals known for their speed in nature. Although the speed of some ordinary leopards has been surpassed by humans who have practiced. But what if the leopard has also practiced? Then humans will have no advantage. This was the case just now. Under the extreme speed, people couldn't react for a while. But there was also the factor that she was not paying attention and was not prepared. The young man in blue began to command, "Those who have reached the level of Miracle Apprentice, follow me to attack, and those who are still in the level of beginners, stay aside and look for opportunities, and be careful not to be attacked by it. If it wants to escape, let it go. Our goal is the elixir." Among this group of students, including the young man in blue, there are 6 who have reached the level of Miracle Apprentice. Each of them is extraordinary, and the miracle power bursts out, faintly locking the figure of the magic leopard. The remaining 4 people, one holding a knife, one holding a spear, and the other 2 are bare-handed, ready to find the flaws of the magic leopard at any time. 10 people and 1 beast fought together, and the magic leopard was extremely fast, coming and going like the wind, and attacking frequently. The bloody mouth tore, the claws scratched, the long tail swept, and the whole body became an attack weapon. But these 10 people are not easy to mess with. After all, they have the advantage of numbers. With 6 people as the main attackers, they contain most of the energy of the Black Panther, and the other 4 people occasionally make a sudden move, attacking the Black Panther, and being as ruthless as possible. The Black Panther changed its strategy and adopted the method of attacking one person and focusing on breakthrough. It is better to cut off 1 finger than to injure 10 fingers. But even the weakest woman, if she is prepared, is not so easy to be killed instantly. More importantly, the other people are besieging her with all their strength, and Black Panther cannot concentrate all his strength to deal with this person. The 2 sides fought to a white-hot stage. In the end, everyone was injured. Black Panther was not feeling well either. After being hit hard, his spirit was a little sluggish. With a low roar, annoyance flashed in the eyes of Black Panther. It took a deep look at several people, gave up the idea of continuing the attack, turned around and ran away. After escaping, 10 students showed a triumphant smile on their faces. The Black Panther finally chose to give up. Although everyone was very tired, and the main attackers had exhausted most of their energy, it was all worth it. Chen Mou also smiled. "It's time for me to take the stage." Chapter 114, Seizing the Pill. The faces of these students were all excited. Although they were beaten badly by the magic leopard, it was all worth it. Thinking that there was a legendary elixir in the cave, everyone was excited. This was something new that they had never seen before. They wanted to strengthen their bodies, so they took nutrient solution, occasionally ate some spirit beast meat, or bought some spirit fruits to take. Pills are things that exist in novels. But after coming back to their senses from the excitement, the 10 students became alert again and guarded against each other. They were not of the same mind. The 10 people were divided into 2 teams, 5 people in each team, and the 5 people were companions. The 2 teams did not know each other, but they joined forces to defeat the magic leopard. Besides, even if they were companions, facing the elixir that seemed to have a huge effect, they could not help but guard against the other party's greed and wanting to monopolize it. The 2 teams separated a little and prepared to go into the cave together to discuss the distribution of the elixir. At this moment, a woman in red flashed her eyes and looked to the right, where a person appeared. Someone came and followed the red-dressed woman's gaze. The others also noticed this situation and felt nervous. Now they were at the bottom of their state, with less than 40% of their peak strength. But when they saw that there was only one person, they all breathed a sigh of relief. If there was only one person, it wouldn't cause any trouble. The person who came was Chen Mou. He raised his head and said in surprise, "There is a cave, let me explore it." He moved and rushed over like an arrow, and his speed was not much slower than that of the Black Panther. Everyone was shocked and angry. This person did not attack them, but rushed straight to the cave. If he got the elixir first, then... Stop, we found it first. A student holding a long sword slashed out a sword. Chen Mou's miracle power moved, and a small whirlwind blew around his body, directly crushing the sword energy. You found it first? Then why didn't you go to explore it? I think I found it first, he said. His body did not stop, bypassing several people and rushing straight to the cave. Stop him quickly. These people were extremely angry. It was not that they did not want to explore, but they were just stopped by the magic leopard. After finally repelling the magic leopard, another Cheng Yaojin showed up halfway. But Chen Mou was very fast. A gust of wind pushed his body forward, causing him to rush forward and instantly enter the cave. Chase? 10 people followed together, chasing him. But with Chen Mou's speed, they could only eat some tail gas. Soon, Chen Mou arrived at his destination. This cave was not very deep, and there was only one straight road without any cross-branching. On a stone platform in front, there was a white jade bottle. The bottle was somewhat transparent, and you could vaguely see that there were many black round pills in it. No wonder that student was able to judge that this was a bottle of elixir when he was driven out by the Black Panther before he could get it. Chen Mou also felt that this was a bottle of elixir, but whether it was or not, he had to observe it. He reached out and took it. There were still words on the white jade bottle. It was not written in the language of Huaki country, but seemed to be the universal language of the universe. The most conspicuous words mean strengthening body pills. Chen Mou was delighted. It seems that the effect of this pill is to strengthen the body. His own magic dragon body is very strong, but it is still far from the great success, not even a small success. If he takes this bottle of pills, I wonder if there will be great progress. At the same time, the 10 students finally arrived, staring at the white jade bottle in Chen Mou's hand. It's that bottle, with the pills in it. A student said. Hand over the pills. The 6 students at the level of Miracle Apprentice pressed over, and they were too lazy to discuss and reason with Chen Mou. They saw that this guy was just taking the opportunity to pick peaches, otherwise why didn't he come earlier or later, but waited until they defeated the magic leopard and were all exhausted before coming? At this moment, Chen Mou held an opaque large bag in his right hand, which contained many golden fruits, and a white jade bottle in his left hand. Seeing that both of his hands were busy, a student immediately attacked and stabbed his chest with a long sword. The young man in blue followed suit. He had no weapon, but he directly pressed forward with a palm, with a domineering look. Chen Mou put down the bag, pinched his fingers, and directly bounced the long sword away, and then faced the young man in blue with a palm. With a violent shock, the young man in blue flew backwards and was caught by his companion. He suffered a great loss at the first encounter. He had a hard battle with the magic leopard, and his energy was already depleted. Now facing Chen Mou, who was at the peak of his power, he had no room for resistance at all. These students looked ugly, because Chen Mou's strength was beyond their expectations. Some people recognized him and knew that he had caused a big disturbance in Xinghu Canteen yesterday and lost face for his senior brother. The opponent was strong, and their strength was depleted. The terrain in the cave was also relatively narrow, which was not conducive to siege. This was a bit difficult. My classmate, you have to be reasonable. We were the first to discover the cave, and we had a big fight with a leopard for the elixir. You did nothing but come out halfway. That's not right. The red-dressed woman opened her red lips slightly. Her voice was very calm. What leopard? I didn't see it. Chen Mou's face showed astonishment. It was obviously us who got the elixir first. You don't want to take advantage of the minority and rob my elixir, do you? Anyway, if you don't hand over the elixir today, don't even think about leaving. A hot-tempered man spoke directly, looking very annoyed. A man next to him said, there should be more than 10 elixirs in the bottle. How about you take one and the rest belong to us? These people knew that the bottle was in Chen Mou's hands, and the other party was strong, so it was impossible for him to not give him any benefits. Chen Mou ignored them, opened the bottle stopper, poured out an elixir, and put it in the palm of his hand. A faint fragrance came out, and Chen Mou was refreshed. Good stuff, it seems to be non-toxic, and the words on the bottle also said that it is a pill for strengthening the body. He raised his hand and swallowed the pill directly. Chen Mou waited for a moment, but the imagined scene of spiritual energy and surging energy did not appear. What's wrong with this pill? Does it take a long time to digest? Chen Mou was stunned. He took effect quickly after eating some spiritual fruits. This pill is too slow. The others looked at Chen Mou covetously. This man took a pill, and the rest in the white jade bottle should belong to them. At the same time, they also wanted to see the effect of the pill. After a while, Chen Mou still did not feel the energy impact, but his own blood and ki were much more vigorous. The lower part of his body was a little swollen, and he looked at the three girls with a hint of desire in his eyes. This pill seemed to be a little different from what he imagined. Chapter 115. This pill is poisonous. In Chen Mou's sea of consciousness, the lighthouse shone, suppressing his whole body, and the restlessness calmed down. He picked up the bottle, and there were a few lines of small words under the big words, which roughly explained the efficacy of the medicine. The function of this bottle of pills is to improve men's ability in that aspect. This, pit father, Chen Mou sighed. No wonder the pills have been here for so long, and the demon leopard didn't eat them, and chose to leave after fighting with the students. It is estimated that the demon leopard doesn't like this thing. This pill, for you. He bent down slightly, picked up the bag on the ground, and handed the pill over. So easy to talk? The students showed joy on their faces. It seems that Chen Mou is still scared. Facing the siege of 10 people, even he dared not be arrogant. The man in blue took the white jade bottle happily. After Chen Mou handed the white jade bottle over, he left directly without any delay. Really leaving? The man in blue looked at the white jade bottle in his hand, and couldn't believe that Chen Mou was so easy to talk to. This pill, it won't be poisonous. The sword-wielding man muttered to himself. It was hard to say whether Chen Mou, such a sinister and cunning man, would set a trap for them. He would trick them into taking the poison pill, and when they lost their fighting power, he would come back to rob them of their treasures. Or maybe Chen Mou took one pill and lost his fighting power due to the poison, so he dared not fight them anymore, but he didn't forget to trick them before leaving. All these students were shocked. It's possible. The man in blue opened the bottle stopper, poured out a pill, put it next to his nose and smelled it. Like Chen Mou, he also smelled a faint fragrance and was refreshed. It seems that it is not poisonous? But it's hard to say. This pill may be deceptive. Seeing that everyone else was silently paying attention to him, the man in blue felt a heroic spirit of sacrificing his life for justice. Let me try it. Everyone was in awe. This man is really a rare good classmate in the world. The man in blue didn't dare to eat it all in one bite, so he just scraped some powder and put it in his mouth. After waiting for a while, he felt as if nothing happened, except that his blood was slightly more active. It worked, but it was very weak. Did he not take the whole pill? He picked up the bottle again and looked at the symbols engraved on it. It seemed to be some text, but he did not understand it. He made up his mind and raised his hand to swallow the whole pill. After a while, the man in blue felt that his blood was boiling and his body was very hot. It stands to reason that if the blood is boiling, it generally indicates that the drug is very effective and stimulates vitality. But why does he feel something is wrong? The distracting thoughts in his heart slowly grew, and there was a tendency to rise below. The man in blue also looked at the three female classmates. What's wrong? The others asked with concern. Is it really poisonous? No big deal. The man in blue turned on the magic formula to adjust his physical state. After 3 minutes, he finally suppressed the restlessness. He carefully sensed his body and did not seem to feel any improvement in strength, but the yang energy seemed to be a little stronger. It seems to be useless. Could this be a kidney tonifying pill? The sword-wielding man took a step closer and asked anxiously, how is the effect? Has your strength improved? The man in blue pursed his lips. How could he say this? He handed the bottle over directly. You will know if you try it. The sword-wielding man did not hesitate, took it, poured out a pill and swallowed it. Soon, his expression became strange, and he handed the bottle to the next person. You try it. Chen Mou was very depressed, really depressed. He thought he had got a great opportunity, but the result was completely different from what he imagined. But he was an optimistic person and would not immerse himself in such a depressed mood. He immediately ran around to find the next treasure. For 2 consecutive days, he kept searching. During these 2 days, Chen Mou ate all the golden fruits and felt that his strength had improved a lot. Spirit beast meat? Give me some. What is this plant? It looks a bit like a lotus, but the essence is so rich. Hand it over quickly, or I won't be polite. I found this spiritual stone first. Do you have any objections? I don't know if it's a coincidence or something else, but Chen Mou always arrives just after others find the treasure. So he plays a mountain thief. Who is he? How could there be such a person? After a spiritual stone was robbed, a classmate kicked a stone next to him angrily. It seems to be called Chen Mou. Damn Chen Mou, he started robbing classmates again. This time he robbed the cold jade lotus root. He robbed so many people that he naturally aroused public anger. The classmates in this area spread the word, and Chen Mou's reputation was bad for a while. Some victims even drew Chen Mou's portrait and circulated it everywhere to let people be careful. But Chen Mou felt that he was innocent. Every time I was about to find a treasure, you got there first and took away my opportunity. Is it wrong for me to rob it back with my ability? The impact of this incident is not limited to this. Seeing that Chen Mou made a lot of money, some people also began to have ideas. Chen Mou was relatively good. Generally, when others were picking spiritual treasures, he would run to rob them when he met them. If he didn't meet them, he would forget it. Some people didn't care about anything and robbed people when they saw them. They beat them up first, and then took the big bag on the other person to check whether there were any treasures. Fang Xian also suffered an unexpected disaster in this incident. His strength was average, and only others robbed him, and there was no possibility for him to rob others. At this time, he wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, and he was still a little fortunate in his heart. He picked 5 fruits. Fortunately he had eaten 3, and only 2 were robbed. Although it was painful, there was no way. He could only comfort himself that it was much better than having all the fruits robbed. Although it was not Chen Mou who robbed, this guy played a bad role in this matter. Fang Xian's hatred for Chen Mou deepened a little. At the beginning, these classmates were still very innocent and did not have the idea of robbing their own people. But when they saw Chen Mou robbing in various ways without being stopped by the school, these people understood that it was obvious that the school acquiesced to this matter. As for the possibility that the school didn't know about this, that doesn't exist. What are those drones flying around in the sky for? Fang Xian was angry, and suddenly he felt something, and the hair on his body stood up. In the distance, a white tiger with bloodshot eyes was rushing towards him, and it seemed to be so fierce that it wanted to tear him apart. It's bad. This is the demon seed released by the school. I didn't expect that he would encounter it in such a large area. He didn't dare to wrestle with this white tiger. His strength was indeed not very strong. He still hadn't reached the level of a miracle apprentice, and he was slightly injured just now. So he made a wise decision to run. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 116, Public Outrage. Fang Xian ran all the way, and the white tiger chased him relentlessly. He wanted to curse a little. Why are you so cruel? You chased me for more than 9 blocks. Do I have a grudge against you or what? At this moment, Fang Xian was impressed by the kindness of the indigenous creatures in the secret realm. Generally, there would be no conflict between the two when they met. Even if there was a conflict, as long as he ran a distance, the other party would lose interest. Anyway, if you don't commit suicide, you won't die. But now he is not committing suicide at all. Why is the white tiger chasing him so hard? The things arranged by the school are indeed extraordinary. Although the white tiger is not very fast and has not caught up with him, the opponent's physical strength seems to be very long, far better than his own. Fang Xian felt that if he continued like this, he would run out of physical strength and die. Suddenly, his eyes lit up and he shouted to the front, "Brother Meng, help me." In front of him stood a handsome man, who was the provincial champion of southern Sichuan province, Meng Ziming. Meng Ziming frowned and looked at the white tiger behind him. When the white tiger saw another person appear, a fierce look flashed in his eyes and he pounced on him. Meng Ziming took a step forward, without dodging or evading, and directly pushed out with a palm. This palm condensed the potential energy, blocking all the changes of the white tiger, and the movements became stagnant. The palm was imprinted directly on the skull of the white tiger, and it looked like it was willing to die. The head was broken and bleeding, and it was killed with one palm. The skull of the white tiger was hard to begin with, and the skull of the demon species that had practiced was no worse than steel, but in front of Meng Ziming, it was like tofu, and it broke with one slap. Fang Xian swallowed his saliva, a little bit unable to believe what he saw. "Brother Meng is awesome, thank you for saving my life," he reacted and complimented. Meng Ziming disagreed, "It's just a little thing at a beginner level. Even if it's at the miracle apprentice level, I can kill it. Brother Meng is brave." Fang Xian continued to compliment, and then couldn't help explaining, originally, I wasn't afraid of this beast, but not long ago, I was besieged and injured by a group of students, and my combat power dropped greatly. They also robbed the kinks in grass I got. These bastards have learned bad things from Chen Mou, and they think about robbing classmates every day. Meng Ziming's face darkened. He also robbed a few classmates today. It would be a waste if he didn't rob. Did Fang Xian scold him too? He was a little angry, but he couldn't get angry. Others were just firing map cannons, not targeting you. If you insist on rushing up to take the blame, aren't you a fool? It's not a reasonable thing. Meng Ziming hummed vaguely, and he didn't like Fang Xian very much. Who would be happy to be scolded? And this person was just robbed by other students, and he didn't think he could get anything out of him. He was about to leave, but was stopped by Fang Xian. Fang Xian said bitterly, "Brother Meng, Chen Mou's behavior is really bad. As a leader among the freshmen, you must teach Chen Mou a lesson and stand up for us." Meng Ziming looked at him as if he was a fool. I still want to teach Chen Mou a lesson? I'm lucky enough that I wasn't accused of being an accomplice. And I was just looking for trouble with Chen Mou because I had nothing to do? If I had the free time, wouldn't it be better for me to snatch 2 more classmates? Ahem, no, this can't be said. Seeing that Meng Ziming was not very happy, Fang Xian reminded him, "Brother Meng, you promised me that day that you would teach Chen Mou a lesson." Meng Ziming was stunned. When did I promise? I just said I would consider it. You. Fang Xian was a little angry. Wasn't he kidding me? After calming down, he continued to persuade, "Brother Meng, I heard that Chen Mou robbed many classmates, and he should have a lot of treasures on him." Meng Ziming's eyes lit up, and then he pondered, this Chen Mou disregarded the friendship of classmates and led many students to rob opportunities. It is indeed a bit hateful. Yes, Brother Meng, as a leader among the freshmen, you should lead us to teach a shameless person like Chen Mou a lesson. The two hit it off and immediately set out to find Chen Mou. Because they didn't know where Chen Mou was, the two could only ask classmates passing by on the road. Gradually, they got a message that Chen Mou was surrounded. Fight Chen Mou and restore the school to a clean and upright atmosphere. Down with the culprit and create a bright and clear world again. Hand over the stolen treasures and give an explanation to the victims. Meng Ziming and Fang Xian had just arrived at the destination according to the instructions of their classmates, and their hearts jumped immediately. There were 3 layers of inside and outside in front, surrounding Chen Mou heavily. If Meng Ziming hadn't had better eyesight, he would have almost missed his trace. The crowd was excited, and many victims blushed. They angrily denounced Chen Mou and recounted his many evil deeds. Chen Mou was surrounded by the crowd, and his heart skipped a beat. This time, it was a big deal. I only robbed 7 or 8 times, and there are 30 or 40 people surrounding me here. At this time, he felt that he was a little bit tricked by Lin Sichen. Did they say that it was okay for students to rob each other? This was a trial, and the other party was not as skilled as others, so they had to admit defeat. But after thinking about it, Chen Mou felt that he had misunderstood. It was okay because the school would not pursue it, but it did not say how the students would react. The first bird to come out of the water will be shot, and it is a bad decision. He thought that he should wait for other students to take action first, and then he would follow suit, and then there would be no problem. Moreover, most of the things he robbed were eaten by himself, so how could there be anything left to return? Meng Ziming was also a little scared. Is there such a big scene for robbing a few things? Should he return the things he robbed? Otherwise, the next one to be surrounded would be Meng Ziming. Chen Mou, when you robbed my treasure, did you ever think that this day would come? A man stood up. He was very handsome, with a square face and a bronze complexion. His muscles were well defined, and he had explosive power hidden inside. Fang Xian was stunned and recognized this man. His name was Cheng Yiming. He had encouraged this man to deal with Chen Mou in school before. Cheng Yiming was very strong. He was the second in the college entrance examination in northern Sichuan province. Although he was not a provincial champion, he often competed with that man in high school and was not much weaker. It was just that in the college entrance examination, he was still a little short, which allowed the other party to win the title of provincial champion. I didn't expect that Cheng Yiming hadn't dealt with Chen Mou yet, and he was robbed by Chen Mou? Fang Xian secretly spit. I thought you were so awesome. When I went to persuade you to deal with Chen Mou that day, you acted like a big shot. At that time, He even said that he didn't take Chen Mou seriously at all and only regarded him as a jumping clown. Now he has lost his temper after being beaten by Chen Mou, and can only bring a large group of people to retaliate. What do you want? Chen Mou spread his hands, looking like a dead pig that is not afraid of boiling water. Hand over the treasure first, then kneel down and apologize to me. Chen Yiming shouted coldly, with a strange smile on his face and a slightly playful look in his eyes, as if he had Chen Mou in his hands. Chen Mou's eyes turned cold. Who the hell are you to ask me to apologize? Chapter 117 I'm okay again. The atmosphere was somewhat quiet, as Chen Mou and Chen Yiming confronted each other. Invisible miracle forces were swirling in the air, exerting strong pressure on those nearby. Some classmates frowned, thinking that Chen Mou should just apologize, and there was no need to kneel. How could Chen Mou agree to this condition? But Chen Yiming was the strongest among them, and he was also the organizer of this action, so he couldn't speak up and refute his face now. Chen Mou, although you have some strength, you are too arrogant. You brought today's consequences upon yourself. This is what you asked for. Chen Yiming raised his hand and pointed at Chen Mou, with a sarcastic look on his face. Chen Mou raised the corner of his mouth. That's better than you having no strength and can only rely on hiding behind others to be arrogant. Chen Yiming's face suddenly became ugly, and he remembered the scene of being beaten black and blue by Chen Mou not long ago. Now Chen Mou said this, isn't it just a satire on him that he can't win and can only call for help? He shouted coldly, Chen Mou, you are really good at talking. Let's go together. I don't believe he can beat so many of us alone. Then he rushed up first. He was like a galloping horse, trampling the ground, leaving several deep marks, and his energy exploded, pointing directly at Chen Mou, with surging power. Seeing this, other students followed suit. Chen Mou did not entangle with Chen Yiming for too long. In his sea of consciousness, the lighthouse was shining brightly, and a majestic aura was transmitted, which directly shocked the other party so that his body stopped for a moment. He took advantage of the force and stepped on Chen Yiming's leg with his right foot. His body rose up and his left foot stepped on Chen Yiming's shoulder again. This boundless force made Chen Yiming stagger, while Chen Mou rushed directly into the sky. Other students, such as Yushu and others, originally wanted to rush up and use siege tactics, but they lost their target all of a sudden. The other party flew into the sky. Chen Yiming's face was as cold as ice. Chen Mou's strength was a little stronger than the last time they fought. He suffered a great loss in one encounter. He was absent-minded just now, which was not right. If he really fought and Chen Mou seized the opportunity to attack him, he would be completely at a disadvantage and would have no chance to fight back. This time, Chen Mou was eager to get away and did not cause any damage to him, but it made him lose face. Don't worry, he can't run away. Seeing Chen Mou jump into the air, Chen Yiming was not in a hurry. What's wrong with jumping up? You still have to come down. The miracle apprentice can only stay in the air for a short time. Do you still want to walk in the air? Others also reacted and prepared to give Chen Mou a hard blow when he fell. Storm, follow my guidance. As everyone watched, a strong wind blew around Chen Mou. Chen Mou, who could only stay in place and change his position slightly at most, was driven by this storm and rushed away at a high speed in an instant, leaving only a stunned look on the ground. Chase? Chen Yiming took the lead and saw Chen Mou finally landed after using the strong wind to push him forward for a distance. After landing, he had a place to leverage, which was much faster than being pushed by the storm. His legs turned like windmills, and he ran a long distance in an instant. Chen Yiming was about to vomit blood. He finally persuaded so many students to unite and surrounded Chen Mou when he was not paying attention, but he didn't expect that the other party would escape easily. He gritted his teeth and increased his speed, chasing after him. Seeing this, Meng Ziming also hurried to catch up. He was strong and fast, and he left Fang Xian who also wanted to follow behind. Although he was pulled away by a long distance in an instant, Fang Xian was very determined and never gave up. He tried his best to run after him. He must see Chen Mou's unlucky appearance with his own eyes. Chen Mou's speed was really too fast, as if he was riding the wind. It didn't take long for him to disappear at the end of the sky. Only Chen Yiming and Meng Ziming could barely keep up. He was galloping like a Tyrannosaurus Rex, and as he walked, the wind and sand were everywhere, and the ground was cracked. There was a whistling sound in his ears. As the sea swallow art was activated, it extracted the surrounding energy and the power rolled in. You can't run away. Chen Yiming gritted his teeth, his blood burst out, and his speed also increased a few points, barely following behind. But compared to Chen Mou's ease, he seemed a little strenuous. Dare to chase. Chen Mou suddenly turned around and punched. The invisible martial arts will rose. In Chang Yiming's mind, he and Chen Mou were the only two people left between heaven and earth, isolated and helpless. The fist was like a mountain, like the sea, like a falling comet. This punch affected the surrounding spiritual energy, and formed a black hole with the fist as the center, making the surrounding area suddenly dim. Not good. Chang Yiming's heart was alarmed. When Chen Mou was running away, he suddenly turned around and punched, which was completely beyond his expectation. In the crisis, he crossed his hands in front of his chest, and the power of miracles was quickly mobilized to strengthen his arms. Originally, his arms had been trained, and their strength was not much different from that of steel. Under the protection of the miracle power, they were even stronger than steel. When the two came into contact, an immense force came, like a mountain falling down. Chang Yiming was indeed a master. He was still rushing forward quickly, but he adjusted his body and immediately retreated with a force. This was to release the force, otherwise he would have broken his bones if he had resisted Chen Mou's move. I don't know how the opponent's body was trained, the density and hardness were too high, and the strength was also surprisingly great. Chang Yiming resolved this move, but before he had time to be happy, suddenly a series of forces broke out in his body and exploded everywhere. He groaned, and his muscles and internal organs were shaken by this force, and a trace of blood flowed from the corners of his mouth. Okay, with your strength, you are not my opponent, let's stop here. Chen Mou did not pursue the victory, but stayed where he was. Although the opponent was also quite arrogant, after all, he was the one who robbed the opponent first, so he was not on the right. It did not violate school regulations, but it was not very ethical. Chang Yiming quickly adjusted his own state, mobilized his blood and ki to repair his injured body, and did not have time to respond. He took the time to look around and found that as 30 or 40 people did not catch up. For a moment, he did not know what kind of emotion to raise. No wonder Chen Mou dared to turn back and fight back. He was really unwilling, but the situation was stronger than the person. When he was about to give up, a figure flew over from a distance. You two want to start a war? How about adding me? As soon as this person arrived, he burst into fighting spirit and pointed directly at Chen Mou. He was Meng Ziming. When Chen Mou fled, Chang Yiming chased him first, followed by Meng Ziming, and only he could barely keep up with the two. The other students were average in strength and were left far behind. The key was that they were too far away and lost their direction. It was hard to say whether they could catch up. Chang Yiming did not recognize the person coming, but seeing that the other party's fighting spirit was mainly towards Chen Mou, he could naturally judge that the other party was reinforcement. He had retreated, but now, he felt that the sky is clear, the rain has stopped, and I am fine again. I just came back from 2 weeks of training, feeling a little tired, and I have almost no more manuscripts saved. Chapter 118 Bare-Handed Dragon. Meng Ziming is very strong. Chen Mou estimated that he has the strength of a mid-level miracle apprentice, and his aura is very condensed. The magic formula he has cultivated should be extraordinary. He is a genius, not comparable to Wang Haoqiang and his ilk. He looked at Meng Ziming and was stunned. He didn't seem to have robbed him. But it doesn't matter. Since you want to fight, then let's fight. Chen Mou's current realm is the initial stage of miracle apprentice. After the experience of the past few days and eating a lot of spiritual fruits, he is about to break through. He hooked his hand. You two come together. Meng Ziming was furious. This man is a bit crazy. He may not be his opponent in a one-on-one fight, but he dared to say that he would fight two people at once. Without saying much nonsense, he immediately rushed up and launched an attack. Meng Ziming did not bring any weapons, but his whole body was full of attacking weapons. His punches were like tides, and he kept walking. A kick came like thunder, with extremely strong destructive power and fierce force. The characteristic of his moves is that they are fierce and coherent, and one move is as continuous as a stream of water. Chen Mou's body was like a dragon. He countered every move and allowed himself to be hit. In this endless attack, he stood tall and majestic, like a god of war who could never be defeated. With a move of his body, Chen Mou's hand turned into a crane shape, and he stabbed straight at Meng Ziming's shoulder, launching a fierce counterattack. The seemingly ordinary move contained extreme danger. With his explosive power, this move would create a bloody hole. Meng Ziming controlled his body muscles, which were originally as hard as iron, but at this moment they became soft. When Chen Mou stabbed him, he felt like he was trapped in a rubber band, which was very tough. He did not achieve the effect he imagined, but Chen Mou still had a backup move. The Qi force invaded and ran around in Meng Ziming's body, forcing the opponent to quickly control his whole body and wipe out this power. Just as Chen Mou was about to chase, a small stone flew over, and the air was scratched with a bang. The small stone itself was nothing. Chen Mou kicked it out and the boulder could explode, but if this small stone was kicked at a very fast speed, it should not be underestimated. This was Chang Yiming's move. He wanted to wait and see, but as the two fought, he felt that Meng Ziming would not be Chen Mou's opponent. Under the crazy acceleration of the miracle power, the speed of the stone had broken the sound barrier. The miracle power on Chen Mou spread, and he stretched out his fingers and flicked them in the air several times, firing an air cannon, which directly shattered the stone. Chang Yiming did not expect this stone to make a contribution. He rushed up and fought Chen Mou together with Meng Ziming. Chen Mou was not afraid. The sea swallow secret was running to the limit, and the magic dragon burning blood technique was activated to fight the two. 36 forms of dragon formation. Meng Ziming punched, running the mysterious skills, and sent out a series of dragon-shaped qi, like a net interweaving, strangling the sky. Chen Mou's face was solemn. This was a manifestation of the miracle power, and it could also be said to be a kind of combat skill. It condensed the invisible miracle power and had unmatched combat power. He stretched his body and collided with the dragon-shaped qi repeatedly. His fist hit the dragon head, creating a burst of sparks. A roar sounded, like two pieces of steel fighting. 36 dragon qis erupted together, and the nearby towering trees were hit and exploded directly, and the whole collapsed, with smoke and dust billowing. Chang Yiming just rushed forward and fought with Chen Mou for a few moves, but didn't get any advantage. Now Meng Ziming hit the dragon qi, Chang Yiming retreated again, otherwise it would be easy to accidentally hurt teammates in this dragon qi. Chang Yiming was on the side, using the miracle force to weaken the interference against Chen Mou, and from time to time controlled a few boulders and smashed them at Chen Mou at high speed. Chen Mou's body was like a magic dragon, and the blood-burning technique was running to the extreme. The combat power soared again, and the invisible force of weakening decay was firmly isolated from the body. Haiyan Jue draws energy from the surroundings at all times, greatly relieving the fatigue caused by the blood-burning technique, making its energy inexhaustible. The fist moved the mountains and rivers, twisted his body and punched, destroying many boulders. A dragon energy collided with Chen Mou's iron fist and shattered directly, spreading from the dragon head to the dragon body, exploding into many fragments, and then transformed into airflow to reorganize. But it can be clearly seen that the reorganized dragon energy no longer has the same brave power as before. At this time, the other students finally followed the traces left by the three people and chased after them. Seeing that the three people were fighting, they were unable to intervene for a while and could only stop and watch from afar. Who is this person? He actually controls 36 dragon energies. Too domineering. Finding that Chang Yiming, who is extremely powerful, can only watch from the side and help from time to time, these people were stunned. That person is Meng Ziming, the provincial champion of our southern Sichuan province. A student from southern Sichuan province recognized him. Although he and Meng Ziming are not from the same school, the other party is too famous and has been reported a lot. Provincial champion. These people were shocked. This title is not just a simple noun, it represents the strongest in a province. Even in Xinghua Academy, there are not many provincial champions. These people are the objects of competition among the 4 famous schools. There are few to begin with, and after this division, there are even fewer left. No wonder Chang Yiming can only help. It is said that Chang Yiming ranks second in northern Sichuan province, but compared with the champions of each province, it seems that he is still a little bit behind. In fact, Chang Yiming had suffered some minor injuries in the battle with Chen Mou. At this time, it is difficult for the two to cooperate in the siege. The current choice is the best solution, but these people are not very clear. While thinking about this, they are more shocked by Chen Mou's strength. He is not at a disadvantage in a 1-on-2 battle. What kind of monster is this? I heard that Chen Mou is only ranked 3rd in Yonghui City. A person said in a dry tone. Such a person can only rank 3rd in Yonghui City. What kind of city is Yonghui City? While talking, Chen Mou blew up 2 dragon qi with his bare hands again. The airflow collapsed and exploded. The aftermath shattered several giant trees around. Chen Mou was surrounded by a stream of wind, which blocked the energy. His hair was not very long, but at this moment, it stood up and his clothes rustled. This was not the end. The battle between the three people became fierce. Chen Mou fought dragons with his bare hands and broke boulders with his palms. His fighting power was endless. His heart was roaring like a war drum, and his blood was stimulated to every corner of his body, making his body indestructible. The boulders thrown by Chen Yiming were covered with miracle power and were extremely fast. They were definitely not comparable to ordinary stones placed on the ground, but Chen Mou blew up more than 10 of them with his bare hands without a single scratch on his body. He was like a demon lord walking out of the abyss, and he would break all obstacles as soon as he moved. With a click, Chen Mou shattered 3 more dragon energies. The 36 dragon energies were greatly damaged in the process of fighting with him, and they no longer had the power they had at the beginning. Especially the few that were reorganized after being shattered, the luster was a little dim. With a series of powerful blows, Chen Mou moved his body, crossed many obstacles in space, shattered several dragon ki, and finally killed Meng Ziming. He clenched his 5 fingers into a fist and smashed it in the air, and the world changed. A vast and ancient artistic conception rose up, and the world turned into a killing field. The fierce wind blew, crushing all visible and invisible things. Meng Ziming was in a trance, and he was pressed in front of him. The fist stopped 3 inches away from his face, and the wind caused his hair to stand up. Chen Mou stood proudly in the field, like a god or a demon. The whole audience was silent. Chapter 119, Sorrow. A Lost. Meng Ziming's words were a little bitter. Chen Mou didn't throw a punch, he was holding back, but he had to be sensible. If he was hit, he would be seriously injured. More importantly, don't hit someone in the face. If the one who was hit in the face was himself, it would be even more devastating. Chen Yiming watched from the side, feeling a little sad. Meng Ziming was defeated, could he still turn the tables? He sighed, the gap was too big. For a moment, he didn't plan to let everyone besiege him. Chen Mou didn't want to be ruthless, otherwise he could just engage in guerrilla warfare and clean up one by one. Fang Xian rushed here and watched from the side. Seeing this scene, he was lost. The opponent's strength was beyond his imagination. Will I never be able to defeat this person in my life? He felt a sense of frustration. Yushu and others also looked at each other. Should we take action or not? This person seems a bit fierce. Just as they were struggling, a roar of beasts came from afar, and billowing smoke and dust rose. Help! More than a dozen students ran over, and behind them, there were at least 20 or 30 demons chasing closely. A flying eagle swooped down and grabbed one of them by the back. Ah! The man cried out in pain and was caught and flew up into the sky, with blood dripping from his back. How dare you! Anger burned in Meng Zi's bright eyes. Although he had robbed his classmates before, that was just a test in the secret realm, and he was very measured and would not cause serious injuries. The demons that appeared now were fierce and wanted to kill people directly. Dragon energy burst out, and giant dragons soared into the sky and strangled the flying eagle. Chen Mou also made a move, and an extremely terrifying pressure burst out from him, as if a real dragon appeared in the world and suppressed the world. The movements of the 20 or 30 demons suddenly stopped, and they were all shocked. The flying eagle even stagnated and almost fell down. Dragons are at the top of the food chain. Although it is just a breath, they are still afraid. Meng Ziming controlled the dragon energy very well. He bypassed a captured student and rushed straight to the eagle. Puff, puff, puff. Blood gushed out, and several dragon energies directly pierced through the eagle's body. Several feathers fell in the sky. Blood was scattered in the sky. Meng Ziming controlled the dragon energy to carry the seriously injured student down and put him on the ground. Hurry up and treat him. Others also reacted. Some came forward to take out some special medicines to save the student's life, and some joined Chen Mou and Meng Ziming to kill the original demons. Many people gathered here, and they were originally preparing to besiege Chen Mou. At this moment, they joined forces with the students who were fleeing to fight against the demons. Chen Mou took the lead. He had just finished a battle and his state had not yet recovered. At this moment, he was full of fighting spirit and murderous aura. A black demon tiger exploded directly, unable to withstand the power of Chen Mou's punch. Blood gushed out, and this blood further stimulated the ferocity of the demons, and even Chen Mou's pressure could not suppress it. Several demons that had reached the level of miracle apprentice united and attacked Chen Mou. Chen Mou kicked a gray wolf with cold claws and kicked it away. He clamped a lion's neck accurately with his left hand and kicked his feet to fly into the sky with the opponent. He rose up like a dragon, and his right hand struck out, colliding with the beak of a mountain eagle in the air. Sparks flew, and the mountain eagle was shaken. After landing, Chen Mou threw the demon lion to the ground fiercely, stirring up thick smoke. The demon lion let out a whine, but the fierceness in its eyes did not diminish. It stood up and continued to charge. Chen Mou also got angry and let out a long roar. The spiritual energy surged and poured into his body. The concentration of spiritual energy here is several times that of the outside world. It enters the body and turns into rolling essence, and the power never stops. 3 minutes later, the battle was decided. Chen Mou kicked the gray wolf dozens of meters away, and the wolf was killed in the air. The giant demon lion was broken by his neck and died. The mountain eagle was punched through the abdomen by Chen Mou, and blood flowed. 3 powerful demons surrendered. On the other side, Meng Ziming and Sheng Yiming also killed a demon each. The demons had the advantage in numbers and chased more than 10 students to the point of no return. With the addition of new forces, the number of students surpassed the demons and began to counterattack. Blood rained down, including the blood of demons and the blood of students. Although they were outnumbered, these demons were fearless and had no intention of retreating. They rushed up fiercely and fought with the students. The battle came to an end, and all the demons were destroyed, but the students also paid a price. Except for Chen Mou, almost everyone was injured. 3 students were disabled, 2 of whom had their arms torn off, 1 had his calf bitten off, and 1 died. Chen Mou was silent. He was struggling with the 3 demons just now and couldn't spare any time. The scene was far more tragic than he expected. The individual strength of the demons was strong and they were fearless. This was even when the main force was restrained by Chen Mou, Meng Ziming and Sheng Yiming, and the overall number was less than that of humans, and they could still cause such a scene. Some people couldn't help vomiting and their faces turned pale. It can't be said that they were not determined. These people had also experienced very hard training in high school. Their strength was not obtained for nothing, but the scene in front of them was still too shocking. 1 person fell to the ground and could never get up again. 3 people were disabled. With the current medical level, there is a certain hope of recovery, but it must be a long process. The most exciting years of life may be delayed like this. What's going on? Chen Mou couldn't help asking after he treated the seriously injured with the students who were less injured and controlled their injuries. He felt that this was a bit unusual. Everyone knew that the demons were fierce, but generally this kind of monsters had no intelligence and did not like to fight together. Now, 20 or 30 demons are moving at the same time, which is rare to see. I don't know the specific situation. 1 person shook his head. Our group was exploring on the road, trying to see if there was any opportunity. Suddenly, a group of demons emerged from the distance, a large black mass. As soon as we came into contact, we were defeated, and 3 people were directly slaughtered by the demons on the spot. You all know what happened next. We can only keep running. Fortunately, we met you, otherwise we would probably be wiped out. His tone was very heavy, and the classmates who fled with him all lowered their heads sadly. It was hard for anyone to accept that their classmates were torn to pieces by demons in front of their eyes. Hearing this, Chen Mou's brows were wrinkled into a river shape. It is normal for demons to attack people, but they generally like to act alone. If they don't unite, they will never cause such great damage. Is this part of the school's plan, or an unexpected variable? Chapter 120 The demonic ape appears. Let's unite and move forward as a group. Chen Mou suggested. The behavior of the demon species is too strange. The strongest of these demon species is at the initial stage of the miracle apprentice realm. Generally speaking, no one will submit to anyone else and will not act together. They don't have much intelligence, only the urge to kill. If you want to unite them, you must have an absolute leader. Thinking of this, Chen Mou's heart tightened, and he felt that things were a little out of control. He hated all the variables that were not under his control. After getting his memory, Chen Mou was determined to grasp all the changes and hold the future tightly in his own hands. Power, and stronger power is needed. In the universe, there are endless variables, and no one can tell the trajectory of things, but it is not completely uncontrollable. When you are strong enough, the truth will be in your hands. According to calculations, Chen Mou felt that there must be a strong leader who controls the actions of many demon species. It's just that it's unclear whether this leader is a local indigenous creature or a demon species mixed in from outside. He said this guess, and it immediately caused an uproar. This is so weird. Is it part of the trial? Or is it an accident? Does the school know about this? Is it arranged by the school? The students discussed it, and their faces showed uneasiness. Meng Ziming and Cheng Yiming looked solemn and agreed with Chen Mou's words. In the face of the threat of the demon species, they abandoned their prejudices and prepared to join forces with Chen Mou. The school may have noticed it, or it may not. No one knows, but we must try our best to pass on the situation. Chen Mou thought about it, ran to a nearby boulder and moved it over. He used the power of miracles to directly flatten the edges and corners to form a smooth surface. Swish, 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 the powder fell, and Chen Mou engraved the doubts in his heart on the boulder, and then raised the side with a handwriting high to the sky. It said the demon species rioted, fought together, and it is suspected that there is a leader to organize it. Is this normal? This paragraph was written very briefly, mainly to make the font larger. The total area of the boulder was like that, and it could not accommodate more words. The drone camera in the sky moved, capturing this picture and transmitting it. The machine will not judge what happened by itself. This is just a routine operation. It is hard to say whether it is effective or not. If this is beyond the school's expectations, Xinghua Academy will definitely react and take corresponding measures. If this is the school's arrangement, then it can only rely on itself to survive the crisis. Chen Mou will not put all his hopes on others. That is not his style. Other students agreed with Chen Mou's proposal to unite. Even Fang Xian, who has always been at odds with Chen Mou, did not object. He was trembling with fear. In the previous battle, he was hit hard by the demon several times, ranging from minor injuries to serious injuries. Chen Mou glanced at him a few times, with a half-smile on his face, which made him feel scared. He originally wanted to teach Fang Xian a lesson, but seeing his cowardly look, Chen Mou was a little embarrassed to take action. The group of people moved forward in a group. The situation on the road was very bleak. The demons gathered in large numbers, and the brutal and murderous intentions made people shudder. Soon the school responded. The broadcast on the drone was turned on, and a voice came out, "Dear students, something has happened during the trial. The demon species is behaving abnormally. Please find a secret and safe place to hide. The school will send a rescue team immediately." This voice was not only heard by Chen Mou and others, but also received by students in all places covered by the drone. First, find a hidden place to hide. We can't stay here. Chen Mou led everyone away from the original place. The bloody smell here was extremely strong. Staying here would be a living target. In terms of concealment, of course, the concealment of those caves is better, but the caves often have only one exit. If it is blocked by the demon species, it would be like catching a turtle in a jar, which is very passive. Chen Mou and others finally chose a place with dense trees to camp. The leaves here are lush and covered, and it is impossible to find any abnormalities from a distance. The next step is to wait for the school's rescue. Chen Mou also wanted to return to the original route and return to the entrance according to the star map. But now, after several days of trials, they have walked a very long distance. The risk of returning is too great. They may encounter a larger scale of demons at any time. It is safer to hide here. In fact, the total number of students entering the Secret Realm trial is more than the total number of demons. There is a chance to fight together. But on the one hand, the individual combat power of demons is strong. Although the students have a numerical advantage, they may not win. Second, after the trials in the past few days, the students have dispersed and it is difficult to gather. Third, even if they can win, the cost is very high and it is not cost-effective. Waiting for the school to rescue is the best choice. Chen Mou and others dealt with a bloody aura on their bodies, and then used special means to wipe off the aura on their bodies and disguised it as the smell of grass and trees. For 2 consecutive days, demon teams passed by this place from time to time, but no trace of them was found. Among them, there were more than 70 demon teams, which made Chen Mou feel a little scared. With this number, if the two sides collided, he would not be able to withstand it. Others did not dare to breathe, and forced their heartbeats to slow down so as not to be sensed by the other party. On a high mountain, the demon ape was looking down from above, with a clear view of the underground scenery. At this time, it was a little impatient, and asked a golden eagle next to it, "Have you heard any news about a man named Chen Mou? Where is Lin Xuanzuo?" It once drew a portrait of Chen Mou and Lin Chuanzuo on a huge rock, and asked many demon species to inquire about the situation. However, many demon species were not very intelligent, and not many demon species saw this portrait, so the news was very slow. There were also many demon species that were disobedient and unwilling to obey its orders. In addition, they inquired about the news based on their names. The golden eagle spoke in human language. We just got a clue about Chen Mou's whereabouts, but it has not been completely confirmed. It is initially suspected that he is in that forest. Lin Chuanzuo was chased by his brothers into a dark forest. This forest is too weird. The brothers felt it was very dangerous and refused to go in no matter what. This secret realm is too large, and the demon species and the students did not enter at the same time, so it is really difficult to fully determine Chen Mou's movements. The golden eagle flapped its wings, flew straight in one direction, and then turned and flew back. This was its way of pointing the way. The demon ape's eyes became sharp. You lead the way, we will go immediately. It felt a sense of urgency in its heart. Xinghua Academy must have reacted, but it has not found Chen Mou's trace yet. The mission is about to fail. Being targeted by Xinghua Academy, it has absolutely no way to survive, but before that, it must complete the mission. A trace of fanaticism flashed in the demon ape's eyes. Its spirit has been deeply affected. The meaning of its existence is to complete the task of that adult. Even if it costs its life, it will not hesitate. The golden eagle roared fiercely, and the golden figure cut through the sky and flew out like an arrow. The demon ape moved and also rushed down the mountain. Behind it, there were hundreds of demons, following silently, with murderous intent. Chapter 121, A Hero is Not a Tyrant. The people hiding in the woods felt an unusual atmosphere, and a faint murderous intention came from the front, which made people's hair stand on end. Chen Mou hid on the branches, raised his head and looked forward, watching the shocking scene, and couldn't help swallowing his saliva. His eyes were mainly fixed on the leading golden eagle and the demon ape behind him, and he realized that the strength of this demon ape was extremely terrifying. There were also many students hiding in the trees, and they felt cramps in their calves. It's over. What's the situation? Asked the student standing on the ground. A group of demon species are heading in this direction. The preliminary estimate is more than 100. A person on the tree answered, and his voice was trembling in a deliberately low voice. There was a commotion in the crowd, but it was quickly controlled. They didn't dare to make too much noise to avoid being discovered by the demon species. They were only about 50 people at most. They could defeat 20 or 30 demon species, but if they really faced hundreds of demon species, there would be no way to survive. Should they escape? These people had the intention to retreat, but if they ran away rashly, things might be worse. These demon species would definitely chase them quickly. If we hide here, the other party may not find us. The sight line of this place is very clever. They can observe the movements of the outside world, but it is difficult for the other party to find them. Meng Ziming looked at the direction of the demons and said in a low voice, "They are coming directly in this direction. It seems that they have no intention of taking a detour. Have these demons found us? They should not have found us yet. They are moving slowly and seem to be looking for something. What should we do? Escape? It is difficult to make a decision. If a group of people run out, the demons will definitely notice and chase them immediately. Facing 100 demons, the hope of escaping is very slim. The demons are not only fast, but also have strong endurance. But if we hide here, it is also a bit like waiting to die. Hoping that the demons will not find us is completely gambling with life." The atmosphere of despair enveloped everyone. Now they are in a dilemma. Some people have a premonition that there may be heavy casualties this time. I will lead them away. Chen Mou suddenly spoke. Hearing this, the others were stunned and looked at Chen Mou with shocked eyes. Meng Ziming shook his head. No, it's too dangerous. I appreciate your kindness, but it's too dangerous to face more than 100 demons. Yet, it's no different from committing suicide. I don't think it will work. When the other students heard Chen Mou's plan, they were happy at first, but then they shook their heads quickly. It was impossible for them to be unhappy that someone was willing to sacrifice himself to save them, but as classmates, they couldn't let Chen Mou do this. Chen Mou ignored their opinions. Okay, it's settled, no need to talk nonsense. He didn't want to be a saint and sacrifice himself to save others, but now he had to escape for his life. The difference was that he escaped with everyone and escaped alone. He escaped alone to attract the attention of the demons and lead them away, killing two birds with one stone. If he escaped with everyone, he would have to take care of them and couldn't run at full speed. Some ruthless people would choose to run with everyone, rushing the fastest, letting those who fell behind attract firepower so that they could escape, but Chen Mou couldn't do such a thing. Some people may think that this is the work of a tyrant, but if possible, he still wants to be a hero. Chen Mou moved his body and jumped directly from the tree, gliding from the side like a flying bird. It's him. The demon ape was stunned when he saw a figure rushing out. When he found that the other party was exactly the same as the figure in his mind, a look of ecstasy flashed on his face. He stomped his feet heavily on the ground, and did not let the golden eagle lead the way, and chased Chen Mou directly. The other demon species saw the demon ape rushing out and also changed direction. For a while, the ground was filled with thick smoke, and the demon species torrent knocked down countless trees. Really lead away. Seeing the demon species team chasing Chen Mou, for a while, everyone felt a sense of surviving a disaster. Many people's eyes were slightly moist. Although Chen Mou had robbed them before, which made them angry, his figure rushing out at this moment was so tall. If possible, they would like to let Chen Mou rob them again, no, twice. But being targeted by such a large number of demons, even if Chen Mou had the ability to reach the sky, he would probably not be able to escape death. They were all a group of students. Although they had undergone a lot of on-campus training and thought they were strong-willed, they only felt their own fragility when facing death. Fang Xian looked into the distance with a complicated look in his eyes and a hard-to-understand feeling. He felt that his previous behavior was a bit ridiculous. Chen Mou didn't know that his behavior actually moved everyone. He just felt that he had done something insignificant. Now his sea swallow secret is running rapidly, manipulating the surrounding wind energy to push himself forward at a very fast speed. Behind him, the demon ape's breath is reaching the sky. With one step, it can cover a distance of dozens of meters. The speed is incredibly fast. This time I'm going to have a big hit. Chen Mou secretly thought that he was unlucky. The breath of this demon ape was too amazing. It definitely had the strength of a high-level miracle apprentice. And it was not an ordinary high-level miracle apprentice, but the kind that had reached the extreme and was just a little bit away from breaking through to the state of a miracle master. With Chen Mou's realm of a miracle apprentice, there was absolutely no chance of winning. He cursed in his heart, where did such a powerful demon ape come from? Is it a native creature or a demon seed released by the school? Which irresponsible teacher would do such a thing? Did he say that he would only release demon seeds of the initial stage of miracle apprentice? Cursing aside, Chen Mou's feet did not stop for a moment, running like a wild horse. Don't even think about escaping. The demon ape spoke in human language. The opportunity to complete the task was right in front of him, but the human ran too fast, and it was a little bit unable to catch up with it. The 100 demons following behind it were directly pulled away by a long distance, and they were about to lose the trace of the man and the ape. You are such a bad brother, I thought you were so strong. Seeing that the demon ape could not catch up for the time being, Chen Mou calmed down. The speed of this demon was not faster than him, and the endurance he was proud of was not very useful in front of him. He could continuously absorb the surrounding spiritual energy and turn it into rolling power energy. I am not afraid of endurance. I will start a marathon competition with you to see who will be exhausted first. The demon ape roared angrily, a bloody light appeared in his eyes, and his speed increased by another 3 points. Chen Mou did not look back, but he had excellent perception. He noticed that the demon ape was getting closer. He felt depressed. He was too happy too early. This demon ape could also explode. As the distance was getting closer, Chen Mou could only use the magic dragon blood burning technique to increase his speed again. But the magic dragon blood burning technique has a disadvantage, that is, it cannot last long. While thinking about the escape plan, Chen Mou rushed out and rushed into a dark forest with the leaves. The demon ape suddenly felt a sense of fear and braked urgently. It felt that there was something extremely terrifying in this forest. It gritted its teeth and followed it. Everything was for the mission. Chapter 122 Resignation. Kong Dexiao sat in the office with a sullen face. He held a copy of the latest situation report in his hand, and the situation in the secret realm was not optimistic. After noticing the abnormality, Xinghua Academy immediately dispatched a large number of Class B mechas to enter the secret realm for a sweep. The ferocious demons had no chance to resist the Class B mechas and were killed in an instant. The drones floating in the sky provided information to the mechas all the time and guided the path to rescue the students. But the secret realm is too large, and even with the extreme speed of the mechas, it is impossible to reach the students in an instant. From time to time, students encountered demons, and the scene was very tragic. Lin Chuanzuo was being hunted down, and his life or death was unknown. Chen Mou sacrificed his life to save his classmates and let hundreds of demons alone. Many other students also suffered. Ma Ming's tone was heavy. Fang Liangping remained silent, and spoke after a while. After 2 days, the situation is basically stable now. The demons have been almost killed by the mechas, but the number of students who died has risen to more than 200, and the number of seriously injured is even higher. There was a knock on the door, and Lin Sichen pushed open the door and walked in. She was dressed in white, with long black hair fluttering, and her face was peerless. She had an ethereal and dreamy temperament, not like a mortal. Lin Sichen, who is always calm, rarely showed a bit of anxiety and looked at the 3 people. Dean, how is my sister's whereabouts? Has she been rescued safely? Well, Lin Chuanzuo is still missing. The drone's image does not cover it very comprehensively, and the clues to her star disk positioning are also broken. It is speculated that there are 2 reasons. One is that the star disk was damaged in the battle, and the other is entering the Black Forest. Kong Dexiao spoke, his voice a little hoarse. He stretched out a slightly old palm and handed over the investigation report. Lin Sichen took it and flipped through it quickly. Lin Chuanzuo's disappearance location is not far from the border of the Black Forest, and he is being hunted by demons. The situation is not optimistic. Chen Mou is also suspected to have been hunted into the Black Forest. Xinghu director Lu Jingshan planned this matter, and has fled for fear of crime. His whereabouts are unknown. No one knows who is behind it. Lin Sichen felt a deep sense of powerlessness in his heart. He had emphasized to Lin Chuanzuo and Chen Mou that they must not enter the Black Forest, but under the helpless situation, many things are beyond your control. Even a saint would be in danger of death if he entered the Black Forest, let alone 2 miracle apprentices? You need to give my Lin family an explanation for this matter. Lin Sichen's tone was chilly. My great-grandfather is very concerned about this matter and is on his way back from the Starry Sky battlefield. Ma Ming's raised his head with a slightly surprised look in his eyes. Lin Sheng is back too. This is my responsibility. Kong Dexiao sighed, his face dim, no longer having the energy and spirit of the past few days. I still have to preside over the overall situation here. When this matter is over, I will submit my resignation and officially step down as the Dean of Xinghu. Fang Liangping sat up straight. Dean Kong, there is no need to go to this step. Ma Ming's also said, speaking of this, both of us are responsible for this matter. Kong Dexiao waved his hand, it has nothing to do with you. I assigned Lu Jingshan to manage the demon species. I didn't know people well. Originally, the school expected the number of deaths in the trial to be within 80, the fewer the better, but after this accident, the number of deaths has risen to 200. More than 100 students died because of me. The sin is serious. In addition to resigning, if there is any punishment, I will also shoulder it. Although Kong Dexiao had no subjective malice, he was also at fault for not knowing people well. For example, some city governors in Huaki should also resign if there are major casualties in the areas under his jurisdiction due to some hidden dangers. Being in a high position, it is impossible to manage everything. He does not have the energy. He may not even know about this hidden danger at all. It is the poor work of the subordinates. But responsibility is responsibility. Otherwise, it will not be enough to appease public opinion and calm public anger. The greater the ability, the greater the responsibility. The heavier the weight, the heavier the responsibility. Whether to resign or not has nothing to do with me, and I can't make the decision. I just hope that a rescue team can be sent as soon as possible to rescue Koetsu. Lin Sichen's face was like ice for thousands of years. Ma Ming said, we have sent several B-class mechas, and through the built-in program control, we have tried to go deep into the Black Forest for rescue, but it was like a stone sinking into the sea. All signals were cut off as soon as they entered. I hope the dean can make arrangements and send good news as soon as possible. Our Lin family will also send people to assist the school's work. Lin Sichen said with a humble attitude, said goodbye to the 3 deans, and turned to walk out. Thinking of her sister's naughty and lively smile, and Chen Mou's bold words that day, Lin Sichen sighed. Entering the Black Forest, the hope of coming out alive is less than 1 in 10,000. In the secret realm, the B-class mechas swept everything and slew the demons. The demon army of more than 100 gave up because they could not keep up with the pace of Chen Mou and the demon ape, and moved around nearby. The mighty demon army encountered 3 B-class mechas, and was instantly cut by lasers, hit by heavy punches, and directly blasted into ashes. The B-class mechas were like war thunder, sweeping everything. Because the school rescued in time, the death toll was controlled at just over 200, otherwise it might be even more tragic. According to the guidance of the star disk and the broadcast announcement of the drone, the students walked towards the exit of the secret realm. What? You said Chen Mou entered the Black Forest? Chen Kai was at the exit, with a look of shock on his face. He performed well in the college entrance examination, and his written test scores were unexpectedly good, with an above-average score. His practical test scores were even 5th in the city, and he was also admitted to Xinghua Academy. He had just entered the school and had not had time to get together with Chen Mou when he heard the news. This was like a bolt from the blue for him. Chen Kai clenched his fists tightly and gritted his teeth. At the exit, he vaguely heard the staff of Xinghua Academy say something like the director betrayed him and the mastermind behind the scenes. Lu Jingshan should be just a small role in carrying out the mission. The real ruthless one is the person behind the scenes. Chen Mou, you can go with peace of mind. No matter how much it costs in the future, I, Chen Kai, will kill the person behind the scenes for you to comfort your soul in heaven. Su Dao and other roommates were also speechless, their thoughts flying. Although they had only been together for a short time, they had a great relationship with Chen Mou as classmates. Su Dao's eyes flashed with a trace of murderous intent. This person who dominated everything behind the scenes reminded him of Century Super Tai Li Biki. Fang Xian raised his head and looked into the depths of the secret realm, muttering to himself, how did we get into the Black Forest? That's a Jedi. He originally hated Chen Mou very much, but he didn't expect that he would let go of the past grudges and use his body to lead away the demons, which gave them a chance to survive. Chen Mou, the great enemy, was probably dead, but he was not very happy. Fang Xian's knees suddenly softened, and he knelt down in the direction of the Black Forest and kowtowed 3 times. If you don't die this time, I, Fang Xian, will stay away from you in the future. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 123 Heavenly Punishment. Kong Dexiao stood up and returned to his dormitory on campus from the office. The situation is basically stable now. As for the rescue operation of Chen Mou and Lin Juan, they can only be said to have done their best. The Metzja entered the Black Forest like a stone sinking into the sea, and Xinghua Academy is even less likely to send a living person in for rescue. It's like a monster with a bloody mouth. No matter how many people are sent in, they will die. Kong Dexiao pulled out a chair and sat down, and suddenly took out a photo in his hand. It was a half-length photo of Lu Jingshan. Lu Jingshan in the photo is full of vigor and vitality. His middle-aged appearance is still handsome and unusual, and at the same time he has a mature and steady taste. Old Lu, I have worked with you for 8 years. I thought I knew you very well, but I didn't expect that I still couldn't see through people's hearts. Kong Dexiao's face showed a look of nostalgia, and then turned into anger. You caused me to resign as the dean this time. I don't blame you. With my strength, I can go anywhere in the world, but you should never have killed so many students. They are still young and have a bright future. Youth is the future of our country. Your behavior is to shake the foundation of Huoki. His voice became more and more severe. I don't know what benefits the person behind the scenes promised you, but without the training of Huoki country, you have the strength and status you have today? Why are you not satisfied? Why do you want to betray this country? You deserve to be killed. As the word kill came out, the sky changed color, and the entire Xinghua Academy campus went dark. Thunders gathered in the sky, like dragons and snakes rolling. With a whoosh, the photo in Kong Dexiao's hand burned directly and turned into ashes. Ma Mings and Fang Liangping looked up in astonishment and looked at the sky. Why do you have to do this? On a small island overseas, Lu Jingshan looked at a red fruit in his hand with the golden lines on the skin, and his eyes flashed with fanaticism. This is the fruit of enlightenment. According to legend, taking this fruit can make all law scholars achieve a breakthrough. LV Jingshan's breathing became rapid. Like nutrient solution, It is suitable for beginners and is priced at a high price. The concentrated spirit wood is suitable for miracle apprentices and is used to enhance mental strength. The price is even higher. What is the price of the fruit of enlightenment that is suitable for law scholars and can even guarantee a breakthrough? It can only be described as priceless. The status of law scholars is far from that of miracle apprentices. The fruit of enlightenment, which is hard to find in the world, is not comparable to the mass-produced concentrated spirit wood. The price of the fruit of enlightenment is over 100 million, but even if you go out to buy it with 100 million or even several hundred million, you can't buy it. This is priceless. LV Jingshan's realm is exactly the beginning of the law scholar, but he has been stuck in this realm for 10 years and can't see any hope of a breakthrough. It is said that law scholars can control typhoons and create earthquakes, and they are gods. But all this has nothing to do with him. He is only in the beginning stage, and can't even talk about controlling typhoons. He could manipulate the storm and turn an area upside down, but a typhoon has certain strength requirements and must cover a huge area, which is beyond his ability. Although he lost his position in the country, it was all worth it for this fruit. LV Jingshan was excited and swallowed the fruit of enlightenment in one gulp. There was no surging power, but soon, the brain became active and the mental power became more vigorous. The spiritual torrents of the Tao surged and undulated in the sea of consciousness, rolling up countless waves. The thoughts became extremely clear, and the speed of thinking about problems increased by more than double. Is this the realm of genius? LV Jingshan's hands trembled slightly. The most important thing about the fruit of enlightenment is the word enlightenment. It can improve qualifications, not to say that it will make people break through immediately, but to make progress slowly. With this fruit, I will definitely be able to break through to the middle stage of the law scholar, and it is not impossible to even glimpse the high stage. LV Jingshan laughed, revealing a carefree laugh. But as his thoughts became clearer and he felt the world more clearly, LV Jingshan suddenly felt a vague sense of crisis and was startled. You should be killed. This sentence sounded like thunderbolt, directly in LV Jingshan's ears, shaking his heart. Then followed by the shaking of his body, which was originally strong, vigorous, and full of breath, and a series of subtle sounds rang out. Like broken porcelain, the surface of his body was covered with tiny cracks, and blood seeped out from the cracked-skinned surface. This is heaven's punishment. No, 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 Dean Kong, you can't do this. LV Jingshan, who was originally full of pride, showed an extremely horrified look in his eyes. If you use this trick, you won't have a good life, you won't live for many years. Under normal circumstances, you still have at least 500 years to live. Why are you making things difficult for me? The sound of bones breaking rang out, and fine cracks gradually appeared in LV Jingshan's bones. At his current level, the strength of his bones has far exceeded that of fine steel, and his body is extremely strong. Even if he doesn't use the power of the law, he can fight the mecha with his bare hands, but under the lingering of this mysterious power, he is still unable to resist. LV Jingshan looked like a middle-aged man, but in fact he was over 100 years old. However, according to his total lifespan, 100 years was still very young for him, and his body should look like a young man, full of vitality. It was just to look more mature, so he adjusted it and turned into a middle-aged appearance. Under this power of heavenly punishment, his body quickly decayed and aged, and really turned into an old man. His hair was still black, his teeth were still white, but his body muscles began to atrophy, and his organs turned into a state of aging and weakness. The heart no longer beat like thunder as before, and could only pump out some blood with difficulty to supply various parts of the body. There were more and more cracks on the bones, densely spread like spider webs. The surface of the body was bleeding crazily, and the surface of the body was soon covered with a shallow layer of blood, making him look a little scary. No, I still have a bright future, I don't want to die. LV Jingshan activated the power of the law, communicated with the heaven and earth, and wanted to fight against this mysterious power of heavenly punishment. But soon he found that the power of the law that usually operated freely was somewhat out of order today, and it became extremely difficult to communicate with the heaven and earth. The brain felt tired, without the clear mind it had before, and even thinking became slow. To communicate with the world, one must have extremely strong mental strength. LV Jingshan could no longer stand steadily, and fell directly to the ground, lying on his back, panting. I am unwilling, Kong De Xiao, you are so cruel, you won't live for many years, you want to die together. I want to resist, I want to dominate my own destiny, My life is in my own hands. LV Jingshan's words were intermittent, and finally completely silent. Before he died, he had a last thought: I just want to become stronger. Is there anything wrong with that? Chapter 124. You are allowed to run 39 meters first. Chen Mou didn't know what happened in the outside world, and he was panicking now. He had made up his mind to stay away from the Black Forest and not get close to it. But now he didn't take the initiative to enter the Black Forest, but was chased into it by the demon ape. When he first came in, Chen Mou didn't find anything wrong, but gradually, he found that the trees here were all pitch black. Isn't this the characteristic of the Black Forest? There were strange corrosive forces in the air nearby, making him feel uncomfortable. There was no time to think about these things. Chen Mou's first consideration was how to get rid of the demon ape that was chasing him. His body was surging at a high speed, and the body of the demon dragon resisted the corrosive force nearby and strode forward. He shuttled between the trees and flexibly avoided obstacles, but the demon ape was known for its flexibility and chased him closely. In the Black Forest, it was dark, and everywhere was pitch black. Even if he improved his eyesight, he could only see a rough outline. Chen Mou was running, and suddenly a giraffe-like thing appeared in front of him, walking slowly. His heart skipped a beat. This creature in the Black Forest was probably not a good one. He twisted his body and went around from the side. The demon ape rushed over like an arrow. It only had Chen Mou in its eyes and didn't care about other things. When it saw Chen Mou change lanes, it also changed lanes, but it was a little slow after all. It brushed past a giraffe and brought a gust of wind. With a snap, the giraffe raised its hoof and kicked the demon ape directly. The demon ape hit a tree and felt that all the bones in its body were shaken apart. Chen Mou noticed a movement behind him and was a little relieved that he dodged quickly. This giraffe was so ferocious that he would be kicked even if he passed by it. He knew the fighting power of the giraffe very well. This was a monster that was 5 or 6 meters tall and as tall as 2 floors. Some carnivorous animals like lions would not dare to hunt giraffes without gathering more than 5 to fight together. If he went alone, the result would only be a kick and a direct kill. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Chen Mou quickly distanced himself and left the demon ape far behind. During this process, he closed all the pores on his body and used his miraculous power to wipe out all the smell behind him to prevent the demon ape from tracking him by smell. When the demon ape stood up, he found that Chen Mou could no longer be seen. He roared in frustration and roared like thunder. With a bang, he was kicked away by the giraffe again. This time, the demon ape took 3 minutes to catch its breath. It looked at the giraffe with a little awe, not daring to be presumptuous, and turned around to look for Chen Mou. But the traces were vast and the smell was cut off, making it difficult to find. Waves of corrosive force lingered around the demon ape's body, making it extremely uncomfortable. When it was chasing Chen Mou just now, its attention was all on the other party and it didn't pay attention to its own situation. Now it feels very uncomfortable. It roared in pain for a few times, and then thought of the giraffe, and quickly shut up. Fortunately, it had left a distance and the giraffe didn't chase it. Chen Mou changed his position continuously, and only when he saw that he had completely gotten rid of the demon ape did he feel relieved. He took out the star disk to check the location, but found that it was pitch black and difficult to see clearly. His mental power spread out and covered the star disk, achieving a visual effect. In fact, Chen Mou could also use miracle power to create light, but he gave up after thinking about it, because it was pitch black here, and creating light would easily attract the attention of some strange creatures. He didn't want to be kicked hard by the giraffe. Chen Mou moved forward according to the guidance on the star disk, ready to find the exit. But soon Chen Mou found that the star disk positioning was completely wrong. The pointer inside was swaying, pointing to this direction for a while, and then changing to another direction. What's going on? Is the star disk damaged or is it the weirdness of the Black Forest? Chen Mou was more inclined to think that it was the strange power of the Black Forest that affected the star disk. If it was so easy to get out of the Black Forest, Lin Sichen and the Dean would not have emphasized it so seriously. After judging this, Chen Mou felt a little heavy in his heart. He walked forward quickly, wanting to return in the original direction, but soon found that he was lost. With his current mental power, he has a strong sense of direction and generally speaking, he would not get lost. The Black Forest has a strange characteristic, with a scattered magnetic field, making it difficult to determine the direction. Trying to distinguish the direction from the differences in the trees also encountered difficulties. After walking for a while, Chen Mou was surprised to find that the trees in front of him looked familiar, and he went around and around and returned to the original place. There is a mysterious force preventing me from leaving. Chen Mou thought about it. This is not good news, and the weirdness of the Black Forest was temporarily revealed. There is no danger yet, but if he continues to stay too long, I am afraid that the erosion force will not be able to withstand it, not to mention encountering any tyrannical creatures. Walking aimlessly, he encountered the demon ape again. He fled quickly and tried every means to get rid of it. I don't know how long it took. Chen Mou's eyes lit up and encountered a Class B mecha, which should be sent by the school for rescue, and was controlled by the program to move freely. Good stuff. This mecha must cost about 10 million. Chen Mou had only seen C-class mechas before, and had rarely seen B-class ones. This mecha was very precious. 10 million. Chen Mou had never seen so much money in his life. After recognizing his identity, the cockpit of the B-class mecha opened and let Chen Mou in to control it. Driving the mecha and performing a few martial arts moves, Chen Mou's long-standing low mood finally improved a little. The mecha can be controlled by the program, but it is not flexible enough. It must be operated by well-trained humans to exert its maximum power. It can even perform impressive martial arts moves with a mecha, which has great destructive power. Chen Mou turned a few more times and encountered the demon ape again, but this time it was not him who ran away. I allow you to run 39 meters first. Seeing the demon ape running away in panic, Chen Mou laughed happily. On his mecha control panel, a data appeared, which was the distance between the two sides. When the value reached 39, Chen Mou pressed the control button, and a laser shot out, piercing the demon ape. It must be said that the vitality of the demon ape is extremely strong. After being injured, its body staggered for a while, but it still fled quickly. The lasers behind it were like the chains of the god of death, chasing directly and hitting it like a sieve. In the end, the demon ape could only fall down helplessly and lost its breath. Chen Mou breathed a sigh of relief, feeling that the mountain pressing on his head had finally been removed, and continued to drive the mecha forward. Soon his heart skipped a beat again, and he felt a little thirsty in his mouth. In the dark and lightless Black Forest, there was a humanoid creature wandering slowly in front of him, with light steps and a light and effortless look. He still remembered Lin Sichen's warning that the most terrifying creature in the Black Forest was not a leopard, a tiger or a monster with 3 heads and 6 arms, but a humanoid creature. Chapter 125 Out of the Black Forest. Chen Mou deeply agrees with Lin Sichen's words. He knows that humanoid creatures are not necessarily human beings. In the universe, many races can transform into human form after successful cultivation. The human form is a nearly perfect form. Powerful creatures such as the real dragon, phoenix, and vermilion bird can switch between the original body and the human form. Slightly lower races prefer to transform into human form, which has many benefits for their cultivation and fighting. So when Chen Mou saw the humanoid creature in front of him, his first reaction was to run, and he had no idea of going up to talk to the other party about the friendship of the same race. Who knows what the original body of this creature in front of him is? Those who can transform into human form must have a high level of cultivation. Chen Mou drove the mecha and fled at a high speed. While running away, Chen Mou also captured a picture through the detector of the mecha. The unknown creature noticed his actions, and chased after him with a slightly slender figure, and waved to him. Oh my god! Chen Mou's hair stood up, and he was extremely terrified. He turned on the power of the mecha to the maximum and fled for his life. There was a distance between the two, and Chen Mou thought he could sneak away, but he was still spotted by the other party. Being noticed by such a terrifying existence is not a good thing. He felt that his growth path was very bumpy. Although he had experienced many waves of torture to achieve that kind of achievement in the future memory, he did not seem to fall into such a dangerous situation. The Black Forest is said to be able to fall even saints, and he is just a small miracle apprentice. He wanted to change his fate, and he did get into a university that was better than the one in his memory, but why did he feel that the more he changed, the worse it got? After running for a while, Chen Mou found that the other party did not seem to catch up, so he was relieved. He tried to control the mecha to get in touch with the outside world, or to navigate out, but he failed without exception. Chen Mou did not stop, and controlled the mecha to continue moving forward, and kept walking like this, hoping to get lucky and reach the border. If he stopped, there would be no hope at all, just a slow death. Not long after walking, Chen Mou met a humanoid creature again, and his figure was not much different from the previous one. The other party hesitated and waved to him. Danger, extremely dangerous. Chen Mou immediately drove the mecha away at full speed. The creature greeted him again. It seemed that he had already registered with the other party and was familiar with him. Nothing could be worse than this. Chen Mou's mood was as gloomy as this black forest. The other party did not seem to be chasing him closely, otherwise, with its strength and speed, it would definitely not be comparable to a mere mecha. According to this situation, the other party should not have the intention to kill, but Chen Mou was not 100% sure. This black forest was full of weirdness. I met another mecha. Chen Mou walked for a long time, and suddenly his eyes fixed. The mecha seemed to have noticed his arrival, stepped on the ground, and approached at a high speed. Who are you? Why did you run away when you saw me just now? A clear and pleasant voice came from the mecha on the opposite side. Lin Chuanzuo was very depressed. When she saw the mecha on the opposite side, she judged that it was controlled by someone, because the movements were more humane, not purely mechanical. But she didn't expect that after greeting the other party twice, the other party ran away desperately as if he had seen a ghost. Am I that scary? Fortunately, he also encountered a mecha not long after. After authentication, he gained control. Lin Chuanzuo felt relieved. Chen Mou was stunned. Run away when you see you? I haven't seen you before. Am I not standing here now? I didn't run away. At first, Chen Mou thought that the mecha was also sent out by the school to search and was controlled by a computer program. He didn't expect that there was someone inside. He was slightly excited. In this weird black forest, it is always good to meet classmates. I just don't know which unlucky guy is trapped here like me. The clear voice continued. Just now, I waved to you, wanting you to rescue me, but you ignored me. Lin Chuanzuo was very disappointed. The friendship between classmates was fake. Everyone cleaned up the snow in front of their own door, and didn't care about the frost on other people's roofs. It turned out to be you just now. I was shocked. Chen Mou was stunned. He didn't know how to describe his current mood. His behavior just now seemed a bit stupid. After explaining and figuring out that it was a misunderstanding, Chen Mou and Lin Chuanzuo walked together. In this unfamiliar environment, it is always good to have a companion, and there is a sense of intimacy. The two chatted casually and soon became familiar with each other. This should be the periphery of the Black Forest, but there is a kind of law force that prevents us from getting out. Lin Chuanzuo raised the arm of the mecha and pointed in a certain direction. I have studied it recently. If we move forward here, we can enter the central area of the Black Forest. Why not try our luck? Chen Mou also agreed. The central area must be more dangerous, but there is no way. If we stay here, we will definitely not be able to get out. We can only be slowly eroded by that strange force. It is better to try a chance of survival. The closer we move to the central area, the brighter the light. Although it is still dim, it is at least not as dark as before. The erosion force also increases accordingly. Even a strong B-class mecha is damaged and cannot be used. The mecha is a very delicate thing. A little damage to the internal circuit will cause the entire mecha to fail. Its external protection is very good. Generally speaking, it is difficult for external forces to damage the interior, but the erosion force is pervasive. Chen Mou abandoned the mecha and walked out. The cockpit door of Lin Chuanzuo's mecha also opened, and a slender and weak figure came out. Her face was slightly round, her skin was very white, and she was covered with a layer of hazy light, resisting the corrosive force. Chen Mou secretly looked at the other party and realized that the other party's physique was a bit special. He was a little struggling to resist the corrosive force, but the other party was obviously more relaxed than himself. But he couldn't say what kind of physique this was. Chen Mou had seen a lot of physiques. Chen Kai's Daoyan battle body was seen through by him at a glance, and he had never seen this kind of physique. As the two continued to move forward, the light became brighter and brighter, and the corrosive force also strengthened. Lin Chuanzuo's figure was hazy, shrouded in the light, like a fairy in the heavenly palace, illusory and ethereal. Chen Mou's dragon body also felt pressure, as if it was being cut by a knife. Suddenly, the two people's eyes lit up, and the front was no longer covered with trees and covering the sky, but turned into grassland. The fragrance of the grass and trees and the gentle breeze made people feel relaxed and happy. Is this, out of the Black Forest? Chen Mou felt that the corrosive force was gradually getting smaller, and as they moved away from the Black Forest behind them, it finally dissipated completely. Are we out of danger? Lin Chuanzuo felt a little unbelievable and frowned. It shouldn't be that simple. This place looks peaceful, but I feel that there is a greater danger hidden. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.